If you've ever paid $10 to have a Razorbacks female D1 golfer remind you that you suck at golf still, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks. We are back to attack this week here. Really good stuff closing out the week with Kevin last week. Reminder, I won't be here on Friday, so we'll be kind of doing a Kevin special on Friday again. But before then, we've got a lot to cover. We're going to break down everything that's going on here today, and we have a new fresh week to attack here in the market. I'm excited to do that. Benzinga's pre-market playbook, the Monday edition for August 18th, begins right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. I barely made it because American Airlines is garbage. I didn't get in until like almost 1 a.m. last night, and I was up at 4 getting ready for the show here today. So I'm working on very little sleep. If I make some mistakes today, I apologize, but I'm going to do the best. Nonetheless, it is great to be back, and it is great see a whole bunch of returning faces. Really excited with how last week went as a whole, and just as eager to get back at it again this week. So looking to carry some of the positive momentum that we had from last week into this week and multiply those gains. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Paul is first. Welcome back, Paul. Good morning. Hopefully you had a good weekend. Brent, good morning. Welcome back. Shanlu Trading, good morning. Azrar, good morning. And Jim, good morning. Sassy Butterfly Chick checking in again. Good morning, y'all, and welcome back, Ryan. We missed your face. That's the nicest thing that I've heard in a while. Can we take a look at Apple stock? Yeah, of course we can, especially when you ask so politely. Flattery will get you everything, it turns out. I'm up 87.85% and being somewhat of a rookie, wondering where I should take my profit or hold. Okay, that's going to come down to the trading plan. I added Apple. If I forget and we just focus too much on the chart, remind me. We can talk about trading plans there. I've been an Apple investor for a long time. So while I can't tell you what to do, I can share exactly how I felt and how I managed that over the years. I'm sure you'll be able to take something from that. Kevin, good morning. Welcome back. Sun-Kissed Yogi, good morning. Welcome back. Tom, welcome back. Brian, welcome back. Big Dave, welcome back. Zach McCracken is locked in and ready to go. Welcome back. Zach, how about on this, man? Day Trader, welcome back. It's good to see you. Shady, welcome back. Good to see you. Producer, thanks for holding the fort down. You did awesome, as per usual. Producer Michael. Big Bear Hug, welcome back. Welcome back, Power Shooter. So interestingly enough, my scramble team shot -2. We actually shot a 70. It was a Power 72 tournament, and my group shot a 70. The winner shot a 57. We had no chance. There were some good golfers out there instead of us weekend hackers, but it was a ton of fun, and it was so hot. I mean, it was so hot, guys. It was like 97 degrees, real feel 114. I mean, it was insane down in Arkansas. Nonetheless, thank you for the welcome back. Javon, welcome back. Dirkus, welcome back. Laura in Florida, welcome back. Bernhard, welcome back. Mustafa, welcome back. B. Hall, welcome back. Mark, welcome back. Dirkus, good to see you. ATL Russ, I did relax a lot over the vacation. Yesterday just kind of threw me for a loop, so I'm going to need 1 day to recover. And we'll be 100%, boss. Maverick, good morning. Golf was excellent. Hot, but excellent. Nomad, good morning. Austin, good morning. Crimp Biscuit, good morning. Brandy, good morning. JJ, good morning. Gary, good morning. Sean, good morning. Carson, welcome back. It's good to see you. Andy, welcome back. Rooster, welcome back. Thank you for welcoming me back. And White Chocolate Mocha, welcome back. Glad you're back. Thank you. You guys are very nice and making me feel very appreciated. 3D says, Ryan, welcome back. Thank you, 3D. Good morning. Welcome back to you as well. I'm happy to be back. I'm Buffalo by Bicycle. Good morning. Welcome back. Empyrean. Good morning and welcome back. Thomas, good morning. Let's go. We got everyone filing in here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the SPY chart as per usual. We'll break down everything that's going on. The Digital Dino, good morning. Here we go. We're going to start with SPY. Now, we are still chilling near all-time highs. We are just shy of 650. Simply looking at the chart tells me that, yeah, at some point we probably want to test 650. I wouldn't even be surprised with it being a semi-round number if there was some type of pop. We've got some good things on the horizon here. We've got a meeting between a lot of the European leaders, Trump, Zelensky, following the Putin summit in Alaska on Friday and then leading into the weekend. So today actually sets up for some good news, maybe some good vibes, and maybe the market responds with some green arrows. We'll see. It's going to be important for us to always remember that there could be a sell the news event. And last time Zelensky was in the White House, it didn't go well. So we'll see. Things are a little bit different here today. We also have Jackson Hole coming up this week. And of course, we have earnings this week still as well. So there are a number of things that could kind of propel us. And of course, there's always the tariff boogeyman that could kind of hold us down here. So the two things that I'm really going to be looking for here at this point now is going to be a break above some of the recent highs. I actually have the specific value there at 646.09. That's the value from Friday's high. I have a Friday pre-market high at 647.13, but I don't think that's going to be as important as the top of the daily candle. So that's going to be the upside level. Bottom side level here, still 635.5. August has, look at the bars here. Volume bars, price bars. I mean, this is Chop City. This is exactly what seasonality told us. We're still in the death throes of summer here near the end, where volume is kind of depressed. And we're getting a lot of this chop. Now, the chop is grinding us higher, so I guess that's great. But the big thing here is going to be some of that rotation into other names. And we actually started talking about this last week. I know Jay Rice was on top of this. Our happy hour talked a lot about rotation into the IWM. So here's a look at the IWM chart. First of all, we broke out of the sideways area that we've really been in since the beginning of July. This was following a move above that recent high from June. So we've sequentially made some of these newer highs and broke above these levels. But some really good stuff here. We actually have a golden cross happened a couple of days ago, early August, about 2 weeks ago at this point. And now we're getting some continuation from that. So this little breakout that we had here above this formation today kind of looks like a back test. And this would be something else that I'm looking at here today. Do we continue to see rotation into some of these smaller names? I think it would be fairly safe for us to assume, if that's the case, that we're likely still on this path towards rate cutting, because small cap stocks are going to benefit tremendously from rate cuts. It really does seem like the market has sniffed that out. You got more and more people saying, yeah, we probably should do this. We're the only country that hasn't cut yet since a lot of the interest rate raises. So we got a lot of things playing out here for some potential moves. We'll see which move we get, and then we'll play that move accordingly. We won't get ourselves too off sides on any of this. Okay, let's go ahead and roll through the market overview. We should have plenty of time to take a look at charts here today. No morning guest here today. We'll just wait for 13 to be available. So we should have plenty of time to break down almost anything that you want. All eyes will be on Fed Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's upcoming speech at the Jackson Hole Economic Policy Symposium on Friday. The theme for the 2025 symposium, which will take place from August 21st to 23rd, quick look at the calendar, that's Thursday through Saturday, with Powell's speech coming in the middle of that on the 22nd on Friday. The theme is labor markets in transition, demographics, productivity, and macroeconomic policy. Now, we'll see what kind of tone we get. I've got a couple of quotes here that we're going to get into in a sec from like Tom Lee and others about how this should go. I mean, again, I really do think we're at the point where we're going to get some rate cuts. So I think we're going to be focusing more on Powell's tone and, unfortunately, what he doesn't say and all of that stuff. Sectors recording the biggest losses on Friday included financials, industrials, and information technology, while real estate and healthcare services bucked the overall market trend. Consequently, U.S. stocks settled mixed, with the S&P 500 closing lower as investors adopted a cautious stance ahead of the Trump-Putin meeting and after data showed a dip in consumer confidence. Now, I think this was the right move, right? We didn't know what's going to come out of that. Of course, the first knee-jerk reaction we saw, of course, it was wrong. It always is. But now we're starting to get some more of this. I still think the play here is to wait. If there is peace, or if there is a deal that gets done, I think the next step is going to be finding some tradable assets to go after and capture movement from that. I don't have a great list at that. I don't think I'm positioned in anything ahead of this yet. So this is something that I'm going to be thinking about. But to be quite honest with you, I'm in no rush to get that done here today. I actually think we're going to have some more time this week and the following weeks. So I don't need to put myself behind the 8 ball trying to chase this event or anything that might be perceived as a tradable information out of this event. We'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. That's definitely going to be something that we pay attention to here today. Now, Tom Lee from Fundstrat expressed his hope for a, quote, conciliatory tone, end quote, on the rate cuts from Fed Chair Powell during his upcoming speech at the Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. Fed Chair's comments at the end of week will be closely watched. Hopefully there's a conciliatory tone. Former Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers criticized the current U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent for weighing too directly on the direction of interest rates, something he believes could blur the lines between fiscal and monetary policies. It makes me wonder if he would have had to do that if the Fed wasn't consistently late, but that's another story. Summers, who served as the Treasury Secretary under President Bill Clinton, says that he is surprised to see Bessent, quote, be that prescriptive on interest rates, end quote, noting that usually administrative officials, I'm working off 3 hours of sleep here. Administrative officials aren't involved in such judgments, while adding that he's, quote, not sure if it's helpful for the administration to be publicly prescribing on monetary policy, end quote. He also points to multiple forces that believes are driving higher demand for capital, including substantially elevated deficit spending, a surge in data center spending, and reduced U.S. trade deficits and higher asset prices that limit the flow of savings. Altogether, he says, these dynamics suggest that neutral interest rates have risen quite substantially, noting that under such circumstances, Bessent's stance on steep rate reductions was misplaced. In such a case, he notes, you shouldn't be prescribing a 175 basis point cut in rates unless we see a recession. I got news for you. I don't think we're getting any more than a quarter point. 25 basis points is all we're going to get. Trump can say whatever he wants. He can go out there and say 300 basis points. It doesn't matter. I really don't see the first cut coming any more than 25. I know there was some talk floated recently about a potential 50 bips cut. I don't see it. If you folks see it differently and you have a reason for that, I'd like to know what that is, frankly. Meanwhile, economist Peter Schiff, the old man that shakes his fist at clouds regularly, said that President Trump's tariffs are likely headed for defeat at the U.S. Appellate Court, setting the stage for what he refers to as, quote, another scapegoat, end quote, for the coming recession. On Sunday, in a post on X, Schiff said, quote, the U.S. Appellate Court will likely strike down Trump's tariffs as unconstitutional, end quote, bringing an end to a central piece of Trump's trade policy while also opening the door for American importers to recover substantial sums of money already paid as tariffs. I got news for you. I will take the other side of this bet. Without a doubt. I think Peter Schiff is straight up wrong here, but nonetheless, we'll get the rest of his opinion. Quote, that means U.S. importers can get refunds on amounts paid, end quote. And those are the billions that the administration has collected through recent tariffs. Schiff believes that this essentially sets the stage then for Trump to blame another scapegoat for the upcoming recession alongside Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, whom he's been repeatedly attacking for not cutting rates fast enough, and former President Joe Biden. Let's see what happens. I'm going to call this no chance. This is not going to happen the way Peter Schiff outlines, but at least we have another viewpoint on the whole thing. Okay, let's talk really quickly. I know I'm blowing you away with news. I just want to get through a couple of these, and then we can kind of go into some of the charts, including the ones that you folks suggested. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's upcoming speech at the Jackson Hole Economic Policy Symposium on Friday is being billed as a pivotal, quote, make or break moment for the central bank's more dovish contingent. This annual gathering of central bankers, economists, and financial leaders in Wyoming is one of the most closely watched events on the economic calendar. And this year's address is no exception. I would almost argue that this year is probably more important than prior years, but that would just be a guess. Again, we'll see how it shakes out here. The anticipation surrounding Powell's speech has been fueled by a growing consensus among market analysts, that the Fed is poised to ease its monetary policy. According to Gary Black of the Future Fund, money markets are now pricing in an 84% chance of a 25 basis point cut in September. And again, this is kind of what I was talking about. I don't see really any other path. I don't see a 50-point cut. I certainly don't see the 125 or the 300. Maybe Bessent and Trump are talking about long-range total amounts of cuts. I don't know. But for this next one here, I don't see anything other than a 25 basis point rate cut. Anyway, with exemptions for 2 cuts by the end of the year. He says that Powell's speech could be, quote, a make or break moment for the dovish Fed. So the question that I have, first of all, I do think the first cut we're getting is in September. And as I've mentioned a number of times here, I really don't think it's going to be more than 25 bips. Really, the remaining question for me is how many more rate cuts do we get? Right? Brandy here, for example, saying, I see no cuts, but we'll see. Honestly, Brandy, this isn't even a bad position. I know we've talked quite a lot about this. I know there's some other external factors, but I totally get where you're coming from on this. And I'm not sure. I don't have a really strong feeling on how many cuts we're going to get. I would think 2. If I had to bet, I would bet 2. But I can see the argument for none. I really can't. I guess I really can't see the argument. I guess I could see the argument for 3, but not if they were more than 25 bips. Nonetheless, we'll see how this all shakes out. I'm thinking that the 25 basis point cut in September is a done deal. We'll see if I'm right about that. This sentiment persists despite a recent hotter than expected producer price index report for July. Similarly, Tom Lee of Fundstrat expressed his hope for the conciliatory tone. That is not easy to say that we just talked about. Historically, the S&P 500's performance in the week following the Jackson Hole Symposium has been mixed, often marked by an increase in volatility as investors digest the Federal Reserve's messaging. So there you go. With that speech coming on Friday, we're telling you that historically, it actually looks like the week after is the more volatile week. So this is something to think about going into this event here on Friday. According to analysts from Kevin Gordon of Schwab, good Lord, from Kevin Gordon of Schwab, citing Bloomberg's intelligence data, the index has gained an average of 0.4 in the week after the event since 2000. We'll see if we get that or if we get a positive reaction after this one. The theme for the 2025 symposium, which will take place on Aug 21 through 23, is labor markets in transition, demographics, productivity, and macroeconomic policy. This theme will guide discussions and papers presented at the event with a focus on how shifts in the labor market will impact the broader economy and monetary policy decisions. As the world watches, Powell's speech against the backdrop will be scrutinized for any hints about future direction of the U.S. economy and the Fed's response to the evolving landscape. The Jackson Hole Symposium has a long history of being a platform for major policy announcements, so it's not uncommon that we get something that maybe either is really important or maybe not foreseen. This event brings together a select group of around 120 attendees, including central bankers from around the world, academics, government officials, to discuss pressing long-term economic issues. Okay, that's that. Let's get back to the charts here and break this up a little bit. One of the things that I want to start with here is going to be NVO. And really, I'm highlighting NVO here because of what the chart looks like and the potential possible move that we could kind of look for. But the reality is that once you dive into all of this, it might cause you to think about other GLPs. So I'm interested in that. I guess I'm especially interested in HIMSS because that's kind of been a great trading stock here. Lilly, I like more than NVO, than Novo Nordisk here. But nonetheless, Novo Nordisk shares are trading higher after the FDA approved Wegovy for the treatment of adults with non-circulatory MASH with moderate to advanced liver fibrosis. Now, what's interesting here is that we're actually in a gap. This chart has been really, really horrific. I mean, this inverse head and shoulders, you want to talk about it, and this might be one of the best inverse head and shoulders that I can recall on a chart here as this continued to play out. But the question now amongst investors is, have we bottomed? And it makes sense looking at the chart here. We've a huge move down from some of the highs. It does look like the chart kind of bottomed out here. We've got a couple of candles that really kind of look like bottoming candles. The volume has really increased down at these levels, so maybe the bottom's in. And now that we're trading back up, we're basically about to test the 20-day moving average. We're already in the gap. This gap fills up here near $70. The current price is $56. So we got plenty of room on this, and that kind of makes this intriguing, especially if this can continue to get some good news behind it. You see it's up 7% here in the pre-market on today's news. So again, we'll see how Novo shakes out here. Pretty intriguing chart, though. Here's what's going on with this. On Saturday, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved an additional indication for Novo Nordisk's Wegovy based on a supplemental new drug application for that non-cirrhotic metabolic dysfunction associated with MASH. Thank you for abbreviating it. That's really helpful. In adults with moderate to advanced liver fibrosis, in combination with a reduced calorie diet and increased physical activity. It's amazing how a reduced calorie diet and increased physical activity will help a lot of different ailments, even if there is a drug or not a drug. Anyway, the accelerated approval is based on part 1 of the Essence trial, in which Wegovy demonstrated a statistically significant and superior improvement in liver fibrosis with no worsening of steatohepatitis, as well as resolution of steatohepatitis with no worsening liver fibrosis compared to placebo. The clinical data from the Essence trial showed that at week 72, 36.8% of people treated with Wegovy achieved improvement in liver fibrosis with no worsening of steatohepatitis compared to 22.4% treated with the placebo. So getting some good data here. In part 2, the objective is to demonstrate that treatment with semaglutide lowers the risk of liver-related clinical events compared to placebo in adults with MASH and moderate to advanced liver fibrosis at 240 weeks. Now, the one thing here about this is that people that have been on these drugs have said pretty much since the beginning, hey, weight loss, diabetes, yeah, but there's actually like a lot of other things that are really positive with these drugs. And now we're actually starting to see some of this in trials. We'll talk about the side effects at some other point, or we'll kind of wait for that to shake out. My thoughts on this is don't go too crazy with the drugs, but it does look like they're trying to get some of these drugs to treat other things. And if they can get clinical trials to show that, it's going to continue to make these drugs more and more popular. It's not just going to be a weight loss drug, we suspect. Novo Nordisk projects 2025 sales to be in the range of 8 to 14% at a constant exchange rate, a notable reduction from its earlier forecast of 13 to 21%. That's one of the reasons the chart looks the way it does. In May, Health Canada accepted for review under the priority review policy its supplemental new drug submission for semaglutide, a once-weekly therapy for MASH. So another stock that might kind of be tied to this that we actually don't look at often, I know we spend a lot of time looking at Lilly and Hims, probably more than this. Madrigal Pharmaceuticals became the first FDA-approved treatment for patients with liver scarring due to fatty liver disease. So when we see some of these PRs and headlines about the drugs that affect liver disease, MDGL, Madrigal Pharmaceuticals, that might be another one for us to take a look at. Okay. Next, the big earnings report tonight is, in fact, Palo Alto. Now, I'm highlighting this for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is a theme that I thought was going to be big for this year. It really has been. I think there's probably more to go and maybe into 2026. But the other thing here is that Palo Alto, best in breed. It's been a great trader for us as well. We've talked about this move down right to the 500. We've talked about a lot of these pullbacks. We've traded several of these pullbacks with some pretty good success. So we have earnings here today. And I know that we talked, there was it last week, maybe the week before, there was some more trading being done here on Palo Alto. Curious to know if any of you have this for earnings. Are you playing this for earnings? Is it just a quick trade? Is it more of an investment? Is it theme-based or is it individual name? Curious here on Palo Alto. I'll say this, with the move down from the top end of the trend line that's really been holding since November of last year, right? We did find support at the 500. The last time we did this, it was Liberation Day, so there was kind of a correction there from a lot of hair pulling and panicking, but it really drove the price back up. Do we get the same type of thing here now? First level to look at, 180, 126. If you want to kind of look at that towards 180, I totally get it. I'll be interested to see if we get any unusual options today in the 180, 185 strike price here. To me, it sure looks like Palo Alto wants to try and continue up. Now, I don't have an earnings play on for this. We're not going to talk to Anne Marie until tomorrow, so we'll look at like a post earnings play with her on this one. But I'm curious if anyone else in the group is playing Palo Alto or another cybersecurity name for the earnings print here tonight. I would like to hear your plan and why you're doing that. Palo Alto will release its quarterly earnings report on Monday after hours. Analysts anticipate Palo Alto to report earnings per share of 73 cents. Palo Alto bulls will hope to hear the company announce that they've not only beaten that estimate, but also provide positive guidance and forecasted growth for the next quarter. Perhaps some visibility into some of the upcoming contracts or how they're doing would probably also help. Really, just like a lot of the other stocks we look at, this is going to come down to the guide. If they report a really good quarter, even if they beat and then they guide poorly for the next quarter, the stock's likely going to get hit. Well, we'll see how bad that hit is and if it's able to hold that support level. New investors should note that it's sometimes not an earnings beat or miss that affects the price, but the guidance or the forecast. Here, if anyone is interested in this, for you Palo Alto traders, here's the article. It's got a nice little historical earnings performance summary in here. During the last quarter, the company reported an EPS beat by 3 cents, leading to a 6.8% drop in the share price on the subsequent day. Again, all going to come down to guidance here. For investors, grasping market sentiments and expectations in the industry is vital. This analysis explores the latest insights regarding Palo Alto. It received a total of 19 ratings from analysts, with the consensus rating being a buy and the 1-year average price target of 215.47. Now that's juicy because we're at just shy of 178 here. Plenty of room. In fact, it's saying here a 24.15% upside to that price rating. I understand why this is a highly sought after stock to trade, and the options are money. You don't need me to tell you that. Group's been doing that. The following analysis, let's see. Analysts currently favor an outperform trajectory for CrowdStrike. So like I was saying here, it'd be interesting to see what some of the other names do. Fortinet, which recently got hit here, and analysts currently favor a neutral trajectory for Fortinet with a 1-year average price target of $94. Currently favor an outperform trajectory for ServiceNow. So ServiceNow getting a pretty good growth or a pretty good outlook there as well. So let's see how Palo Alto actually does here today. I think Anne Marie might have covered Palo Alto on Friday. The chat helped the producer out there. Okay, amazing. So that's great. So while I was busy, you guys were setting up for Palo Alto. That takes care of the earnings trade if you wanted to play the print. If you didn't, or if you wanted to just kind of sit on the sidelines, maybe we should follow up on that trade, producer, with her tomorrow and see if she wants to maybe add something to it, like a post-earnings trade of some kind. That makes some sense. Okay, next here, UNH. Let's actually talk about UNH again. We'll start with the chart here. How's this been for everybody? How's UNH been? This has been I know that there are a select few of you that continue to trade this name and continue to get it done. And I absolutely love that here. So what I want to know from the group, obviously we had the news about Buffett buying this last quarter. I guess that really shouldn't have come as a surprise. That popped the shares. This happened on Thursday morning. That popped the shares. We actually drifted higher here. So it does look like not only have we recaptured 13, but it does look, 300. It actually looks like we might push out of this area. Now, when we initially had that huge drop that set that low down into 248, we bounced back from that and we traded sideways from, this is what, mid-May to mid-July before we broke down and tested the new low. Now we're back to this range. So for me, I really think that what we're going to need to do is really kind of clear out 335, honestly. We would like to see a little bit more than the last kind of curl. We definitely like to see more volume. I think the Berkshire adding UNH might be one of those catalysts that bring in said volume that we kind of need here. But let me know, do you folks think that this bottom is in? Do you think that maybe we might start moving up here on that? First of all, massive congrats to any of you that were bottom picking UNH down here and then got the Warren Buffett news that he purchased there. Just absolutely awesome. If you did that overnight, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but congrats and register rings all around to anyone that had that short-term trade on. Now, though, I think it might be time for some continuation. Right? We're breaking above the 50. If we can break above this 335 we just talked about, that sets up 353, maybe even a gap fill up here to 377, then the round number at 400. And our 200-day moving average is still at 443 and a half, or just beneath that. So I anticipate or I expect this 200 to continue to dip as the days roll off the calendar here, but wondering if maybe there's more continuation here in UNH. Biggabees, thank you. You're welcome. Biggabees, thank you for sharing all the stuff here on UNH, because it's been absolutely incredible. You guys have done a really good job with this one. Bob is saying UNH is the classic buy the rumor, sell the news stock. Okay, so if that's the case, then maybe we're kind of done, or will be done soon here with this initial pop off the 13Fs. You let me know. Bigga B saying my UNH calls are very in the money. Okay. Corey says yes on UNH. So you mean yes, the bottom is in and we continue to curl up, right? That's specifically what I was asking about, but just to make sure I get your position there, just confirm that for me. Did I miss anything else here? A brim for breakfast, UNH for the win. It's been pretty good trading, hasn't it? Yeah. So pretty crazy. We'll see where this goes here. We'll see if the big problems are behind it. Big time shout out to the group. Healthcare, not a sector that I follow, and you folks have kept me on it and kept me honest, and that is awesome. So we'll see where UNH goes here. Shares of UNH climbed 3.2% in the pre-market today, extending Friday's gain following Michael Burry and Warren Buffett's stake in the insurance behemoth. I totally forgot to mention that. I actually did see that, but I really did no research, no diving in, and no follow-ups this weekend. But yeah, Burry as well. I guess we can add that to Buffett. United Healthcare stock saw an uptick following the disclosure of investments made by investors. The stock, which has seen a 41% decline year to date, received a boost as Buffett's fund purchased over 5 million shares and Burry bought call contracts against 350,000 shares. The investment indicates that Burry is anticipating a sector rebound. This is, I think, the key for us as traders here. Burry is anticipating a sector rebound, especially as Medicare Advantage rates for 2026 have surpassed predictions. Despite recent challenges, United Health's competitive position remains robust. At the same time, a recent SEC filing, Amedis, announced the closure of its acquisition by United Health. To address the antitrust concerns related to the $3.3 billion acquisition, United Health consented to divest over 160 healthcare facilities as part of a proposed settlement with the Department of Justice. Despite announcing lower than anticipated second quarter earnings revenue, United Health has reinstated its fiscal year 2025 guidance. The company also reaffirmed its commitment to collaborate with the Department of Justice amid the ongoing investigations into its Medicare program participation. Again, big B's. Huge shout out to you, because you have been on this before it even made the news cycle. You were on this when you were developing your thesis for that, and it appears that you were spot on. See how this continues to play out. Thanks for sharing that with the group here. United Health has transitioned from a Wall Street favorite to a crisis headline, enduring a relentless bear run. However, a host of investors have doubled down on the stock. Will it be enough? Besides prominent investors, Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene purchased more United Health stock, according to filings. Greene's latest United Health buy follows several other acquisitions of the stock this year, with the Congresswoman previously reporting a purchase in May. This might be another kind of outlet for us to check. Do more people in government add this? That would be notable. Notably, last week, the company authorized a $2.21 quarterly dividend. The company's board approved a cash dividend set for payment on September 23rd. And you have to own the stock by September 15th to get paid out on that. We'll see if that day causes a drop or perhaps a buyable dip there. Okay. One more news story here to go through. This is actually going to have, this is just kind of like an overview, and then we can do charts. What time is it? 35. Oh, we have oceans of time. Folks, get your charts ready. There's going to be a lot of stuff that we need to look at. On this acquisition news. Okay, let me check on that in a sec. Let me rip through this last story here real quick. Growth stocks flash a bullish golden cross on an AI spending spree. Growth stocks are decisively outperforming their value counterparts, no surprise there, flashing a bullish technical golden cross as the artificial intelligence spending spree continues to reshape the market. This rally, fueled by massive capital expenditure from tech giants, is now leading experts to identify the next tier of companies that's set to benefit beyond the obvious chip makers. This is one of my favorite thought or courses of thought here when we get a piece of news. What else can we go after? Where else can we be early and kind of maximize those gains? The trend is highlighted in the Russell 1000 growth versus value ratio, the RLG over RLV chart, which is breaking out to new highs, according to Adam Turnquist, chief technical strategist for LPL Financial. Growth has made a, quote, notable comeback, end quote, thanks to an unwavering commitment of AI capital expenditures. And this gets us back to the big $64,000 question that everyone's asking about. Is this AI a bubble, or is this something that's going to generate more tailwinds here? Sometimes I go back and forth on this. I'm starting to think, though, that, I'm sure we'll see some, air come out of some of these companies that had too much of it to begin with, maybe some pullbacks. I don't know that this is necessarily going to be a bubble. We'll see. I know the internet always gets compared to this, or it gets compared to the internet age. We'll see. Turnquist noted that the recent bullish crossover between the 50 and the 200-day moving average, the golden cross, confirms the breakout from a year-long consolidation range and points to a more durable uptrend. While semiconductors have been the primary beneficiaries of the AI boom, the next wave of growth may come from less obvious sectors. This comes from Bruce Keith, co-founder of Investor AI. He told Benzinga that the focus should shift to companies that facilitate AI adoption. Quote, in the short term, like the next 5 years, the IT services and consulting firms will do very well. He explained that the agentic automation wave is just starting. These service-oriented firms will be crucial in helping businesses integrate new AI technologies. Keith predicts the winners beyond that time horizon will be firms that successfully productize more of their offering and look more like product companies than service players. So it's a little vague there, but I agree with his overall premise. I think we're going to get more opportunity in other names. I think some of the easy money has already been made on the general AI, like the chips and things like that. I think we're going to have to pretty soon start diving a little bit deeper to find some of this opportunity. Okay, that's it for the news. We made it here. Let me catch up here real quick. Yeah, I haven't even read the headline yet, Zach. Ondas enters into a definitive agreement to strengthen multi-domain autonomy leadership with strategic acquisition of robotics innovator Epiro Motion. Okay, so that gives me some homework. I actually am not familiar with that company. I will have to look it up. I would imagine this would not be a huge catalyst for today. Some of the previous catalysts that we've got seem to be much bigger. We might even get some carry through that. I'm really encouraged to see that offering get bought, by the way, on this. But let me look into that, and we'll see if I can get a little bit more. Yassine, good morning. It's great to see you. Golden Cross on CGNX. Okay, Jonathan, or Joseph, excuse me, CGNX. This is Cogenics. Yeah, we did get that, and this is actually a pretty interesting chart. Are we still? So this wasn't a gap. That actually, I could have sworn that. So it almost looks like we're back testing the end of this. I still think the next move up here is probably to 50. See if we can get above 45 here. But you're right on that golden cross. That is fresh. Isn't that as of Friday? Thursday of last week, you got that golden cross. Now we got a little bit of a pullback. I don't know, man. If this holds 42.30, maybe we do make a move towards 45. This is an interesting chart. I'm glad that you brought this one up. Do you think rate cuts will drive up Ondas and DR Horton? Yes, actually. So I think here's the thing about that. So Nathan, this is a really good question. And I, just to be clear, I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but my gut feeling is that interest rates are definitely going to be better for small cap stocks. It's definitely going to help some of these companies borrow money and increase cash flow and all of that. But I think we actually might get a little bit of a sell the news right when this first happens. So I think we might get a little kind of bottoming out on some of these names before we get a sustained move higher. Now, I don't know if that's going to affect Ondas. Given everything that they're doing here, they just did that offering where they closed a lot of it, or maybe even all of it. I'd have to double check. I'm not sure how much of a direct benefit. I just think kind of it's going to benefit the entire sector. Lower rates here. I would imagine Ondas would be a beneficiary, but I don't know how crazy that's going to be. Now, as far as DR Horton, I really do think that the real estate stocks are likely going to react quicker to those rate cuts. I actually think some of the price action you're seeing in these, DR Horton being a home builder, of course. I know we talk a lot about Rocket and some of the mortgage companies. I really do think some of the move that you're seeing now is the market pricing in the known quantity that we are getting rate cuts. Maybe it doesn't know exactly when, or it doesn't know how many, but it knows that we're getting them. And as a result, it's starting to reprice some of these stocks higher. That sets up for a potential sell the news event, right? We actually get the rate cut. It's already kind of baked in, especially if it's 25, which is what we're thinking here. There could be an event where these stocks, whether it's DR Horton, Rocket, whatever, actually pull back on that rate cut news. That would be something else to watch here. But generally speaking, Nathan, to answer your question, I would say that rate cuts long term would be positive for any small cap stock and the housing stocks. That would be my knee jerk reaction right now. But a good question there. Jane is saying places are starting to not want data centers due to their electric use and grid systems strained as it is. That makes a lot of sense, right? That's the whole not in my backyard phenomenon. Yeah, we want all this cool stuff. We want our large language models. We definitely want Grok to be able to animate pictures and create videos, blah, blah, blah. But we don't necessarily want these data centers in our backyard. And as you're outlining here, big strain on the grid. As far as grid infrastructure and energy infrastructure plays, I don't have a really great trade idea for you here today, but I do kind of like that. And my ears are open, and I'm listening to things that I come across, and I'm reading things that I come across that might actually kind of lead to one of these plays. I think there's going to be a little bit more meat on that bone for us to go after, to be quite honest with you. If I had something actionable for you right away, I would give it to you. You meant Open and ONDS. So Open is its own thing. Sorry, I gave you like kind of a long answer and you had given me the wrong stock and you're like, I don't really care about DR Horton. Anyway, Open here, this is more of a short squeeze. I know there's that thesis of this being worth $80. I don't know if that's going to happen. This, to me, at least the initial move felt like a short squeeze, and it almost feels like we're getting a little bit of that like second wind here on the short squeeze. Let's take a quick look at Open really quick. That didn't make sense. I promise I'll get good rest today. I'll be sharper for you folks tomorrow. 23.86% of the float shorted with 1 day to cover. This has climbed. It's come in a little bit from a couple of the prints, but this is still fairly significant. And while we don't have a high days to cover, we still have a lot of raw short interest in this name. So I don't want to write this off as being a potential short squeeze, or maybe even the second leg of a potential short squeeze. I think there are other things going on here at Open, frankly, than that. Day Trader says what XAI is doing in Memphis with the methane generators is crazy. That I'm not familiar with. They're using methane to generate electricity, I would guess, based on what you're saying. You know what, Day Trader, if you wouldn't mind, don't throw it in here because I can't copy it out of here and I certainly can't read into this now. But if you wouldn't mind tweeting me some stuff to read about that, I'd be interested in that. I'd be very, very interested in that. Okay. Let me go to Apple. Let's see. Wolf and BE. So those are both movers, right? We'll definitely hit those as soon as 13 gets here. That's no problem. Let me cover Apple here real quick. Looks like Lilly is positioning for a new debt offering. Okay, I guess we can take a look at that as well. Let's first take a look at Apple because that was suggested by the chat earlier. Here's a look at Apple, and man, I love it when a plan comes together. Man, I love it when a plan comes together. So first of all, we talked about the short-term trade. Good morning, Charles. It's good to see you again. Welcome back. Hope you're ready to kill it this week. The recent short-term swing trade that we talked about here on Apple was a very, very clear setup. In fact, it was so clear that a bunch of people on CNBC were talking about it, including Katie Stockton. The breakout above 215. Well, we've got that. We've got to move to the 200. We've got a nice little break of the 200. We have a move up now to 233, and we have a little bit of consolidation. This actually looks like Mark Petrino's chart, where he's got price levels from in the past, and the stock price just goes right to it. The only difference with this is that my candles are green instead of blue. But frankly, this looks like the exact market psychology that Mark Petrino talks about on a regular basis here. So for me, this is definitely a sell point on the swing trade. Maybe you want to keep a piece in case this rolls higher. Maybe you even have a momentum plan where if this really rips through this level, you add to it. But to me, it looks like from the 215 breakout, we've got, 16 points now on this move. We actually were 18 points at the resistance level of 233 and change. To me, this is a win already. So as far as a swing trade goes here, this is at least partial is already taken here, if not the whole thing. As far as the investment side of the trade, nothing has changed here. Apple is still big mama. It is still getting it done. It has an incredibly impressive balance sheet. It's being friendly with the administration. It's investing in the United States. It's doing all of the things that it should do to drive higher here. I see no reason to change around your investment unless you are doing a portfolio weighted strategy, and this is just simply too big and you need to trim it because of that. Otherwise, everything else is intact here. The iPhone is a service, despite it being a product. People upgrade it like a service. All signs are go here on Apple. If they do anything that surprises to the upside on AI, you're going to have a pretty nice pop, I think, on this stock. I really do. Okay. Yeah, Day Trader, I'll tweet you a YouTube video I watched on it. I would appreciate that. I work for a massive electrical contractor doing data centers and substations all over the country, so I'm deep into the data center boom. You can be extremely valuable for our chat here by delivering insights and maybe where we should look next in terms of where the puck is going for trading purposes. But Day Trader, that all sounds awesome. That all sounds awesome. Now, Sassy Butterfly Chick, let me see if I can scroll back up to your question. I can't remember exactly what it was, and I think some of it. Good morning to anyone I missed, like Zane and Lambo Rolls, by the way. I know I'm in Night Slants. I know I missed several of you here. Nikhil, good morning. Let me see. Abby, good morning. Finally, you're here. Abby, that's very nice of you. I missed you too. Here, let me see if I can go back to Sassy Butterfly Chicks. Okay, can we take a look at Apple? I'm up nearly 100%, 87%, and being somewhat of a rookie, wondering where I should take my profit or hold. Okay, so the first thing that you need to figure out is what's your time horizon? In fact, you should have already figured this out before, but we won't reprimand you for that. What is the purpose of this trade? Do you want to hold this long term? Is your view positive long term here? If you're up nearly 100%, what did you're talking, so you didn't buy at the 8. So this almost seems like this is an investment for you. Yeah, I can't answer that for you. To me, an investment long-term, and when I say investment long-term, I mean 2+ years of holding. To me, the chart becomes less and less important at that point. Sure, maybe the chart runs up to some crazy double top on a monthly frame, and you're like, I should maybe look at this. Okay, I get it. But as far as an investment, what trumps the chart for me is the story and what's going on behind the scenes. And Apple, even with the AI missteps that they've made, clearly they're still crushing it. And it doesn't look like they're going to be negatively affected by a lot of the macro stuff going on right now. So for me, this is all signs go. As far as investment is concerned, I wouldn't consider lightening it, but that's just me. You have to do you. And if you need to free up cash and you have a monster winner that you've been holding on for a long time, the right move for you might be to free up some of that cash. I just can't make that decision for you. That's something that you're going to have to do. All right, folks. Hi, Ryan. Better late than never. Yeah, you got that right. Carson wants to ask about Tesla with BYD taking over the market. Okay, first of all, I don't think BYD is taking over anything. Let me just throw that out there right now. Sure, they might sell some cars in China, but those things are junk as far as I'm concerned. I really don't think they're taking over, end quote, any market. But we'll get to Tesla here in a little bit. Let's go ahead and welcome back, or welcome on 13. I shouldn't say welcome back. He's been here the whole time. It's been my ass that's been gone. 13, happy Monday. Good morning, my man. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Ryan. Welcome back, and good morning, chat. How is everybody this morning? Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. How was your vacation?
Dude, the vacation was absolutely excellent right up until the return flight. Right up until the return flight. My buddy and his family, so his wife and their son, drove me to the airport. It was awesome. It was hotter than blazes in Arkansas the entire time that we were down there. I get to the airport. I got my bags. I get to the counter. There's nobody in the airport. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. I check in. I'm on my way to TSA, and I get a little notification that my plane has been delayed an hour. That hour turned into 2 hours. When we landed, there was no gate available. Then the jetway started on fire. So we had to sit. Yeah, I know. I couldn't believe it either. Never seen that before. Sat in the plane for an hour that was already delayed. I didn't get back till close to 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was up at 4:45 for the show. So 13, my vacation was excellent, but I'm a tad tired today and maybe not as sharp as I normally am.
Well, sounds awful that you had to go through all that, but hopefully you'll be able to take a nap after this.
I will. And you know what else? I'm still running on some energy because the Chicago Bears, who get so much bad talk about them all the time, even from this chat, by the way, they absolutely thumped the Buffalo Bills yesterday. And they put a lot of rumors and speculation to bed. And I am very happy about that. The delay, I was able to watch that game on my phone in the bar, and that worked out. So, okay, 13, where do you want to go here?
Well, we got some movers that we could take a look at if you want to start there.
Let's do it.
First one that I was looking at today, and thank you, producer, for getting the list together. PPCB is the first one we were looking at. That's
okay.
Propank Biopharm. I almost said propane, but that's because I sometimes read a little faster than I should. That happens.
Here, let me roll through a couple of these things. I'm going to turn it over to you, and I'm going to go blow my nose because the allergies are coming back. So, okay, really quickly here on this, we had news on Friday that it was a uplisting. I'm sure 13 is going to cover that in depth. We did have a nice little pop here today, but this is giving us the pre-market formation of doom that I've kind of called it here. I'm kind of testing this little formation here. It's when the stock pops a lot, sometimes several 100%, and then before the market even opens, it just rolls over and looks really weak. We've been unable to get above the VWAP here. We've almost round tripped this entire move. We'll see if this gives us another opportunity later in the day. I've got pretty much a negligible short interest reading here, 0.02, 2 100ths of a percent here, pretty much nothing. And 1 day to cover, nothing there. Average volume, this thing's a ghost town, so be careful with it. Today we've traded 500,000 shares, floats 11. So 13, what do you think here? I'm going to go blow my nose. I'll be right back.
Well, with this IPO uplisting on Friday, they started at $4. That was what the listing was for. They have 11.6 million shares in the float. I don't think that I'm really going to be leaning too heavily on anything except the technicals on this one because I don't even know what this company does, nor do they really care. It's a biotech, and that's about it. This one being a new issue, I'm just looking at the chart and trying to get an idea of where this might find some support and resistance. I think this could very well go back down to that $4 IPO level. It looks like we are headed there still, trading slightly above $5 right now at this moment. But if we do turn around and start trading back up, I would expect there to be some resistance towards 8. Now, when we did get this impulse move up out of the gate here in the pre-market, we ran all the way up to 1354. But when we came back in for the first time, we got support at just above 8. So I think that if we do turn around, we do get some upward price action, and we do manage to recapture the VWAP, I'm still looking at 8 as the big resistance area for this one that it has to get through. It also looks like you're going to have a bit of a consolidated area just shy of 10. So that's going to be the next resistance area up after that. Once we get to the 8 area, it really starts to get a little bit thicker with the price action that's happened. So there's going to be a lot of people trapped up in this area.
Okay. Really good breakdown there. PPCB. What else do you have on your list?
I have VTAC and SNGX.
Okay, well, that's perfect because VTAC is next here. This is Catheter Precision. Yikes for a company name. This stock here closed at about 267 on Friday. We ripped above 5, come back in a little bit here. We'll see if we can recapture that VWAP there at 455. They announced registration and approval in the UK for Lock-T. I guess I have to look into what this is. I'm not sure what it is. I'll give you guys the press release in case you want to do some of your own due diligence here. There you go. Okay. Let me go back to that short interest here on this name. 3.05% here and 1 day to cover. So pretty negligible, to be honest. On average, it trades about 750,000 shares. Today, we've traded 174,000. Float, though, pretty small here, pretty small float, 1.2 million. So 13, what do you got on VTAC?
Well, the reason for that low float is because on Friday they did a 1-for-19 reverse split. This company also needs cash. So they are kind of going through those motions of NASDAQ recompliance. Now, I don't think this is the one that I saw that they were hit with a non-compliance letter with by the NASDAQ. I'm pretty sure it's the next one. But they just went through a reverse split, and being that they do need cash, I believe that's coming, and it could come as early as today. I haven't seen any filings recently that would indicate that it's going to happen very soon. I do see that they had one for offering to employees via benefits. That's the most recent one I see. I don't think that's something to worry about. It's in order to raise capital that we need to be concerned about, and I haven't seen a filing for that this morning. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but just taking everything into consideration, if they are going to have to raise cash, they could do it as early as today. We'll have to be careful with this one. As of right now, though, looking at the chart, we are trading beneath VWAP, and it looks like support is going to come in at about maybe just shy of 4. So if we don't get that support there, I think we will come back down even further, possibly to 325 before some other support kicks in. It just doesn't look like the chart's that great right now, but let's see what happens closer toward the open. It may have started its recovery by that time.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is if you get any type of volume to kind of ramp after the open, that strengthens your case for a potential curl here. So that's a couple of things that we can take a look at. Okay, you had SNGX on your list, if I recall correctly. Next, the stock closed at didn't this go on a recent? Yeah, it did. Okay. LOL. So I'm sure you're going to cover all of this, so I won't spend a whole lot of time on this one. FDA grants Soligenix orphan drug designation for the treatment of Behçet's disease. I probably butchered that. After reviewing recent phase 2 clinical study results. So we're actually getting some data here with some positive results from it. Here's what I want you to pay attention to. And 13, you might dive into this a little bit more. We basically traded up today to where we traded up on August 4th. Now, I'm not sure what that PR is. I'm going to assume that you looked that up or whatever happened that day. I'm going to assume you're going to tie it together. Maybe I'm wrong on that. We'll see. Quick look at the short interest on this name. 10.39%. And as you'll notice, this is actually a step up from the last report, which was a substantial step up from the report prior. So it does look like the short interest here is building, at least in terms of percent of float shorted here. Days to cover not yet being affected. The stock trades on average just shy of 8 million shares. We're 250,000 here today, so it's not even a whole lot. Float on this is 3.2 though, so it can move. All right, 13, what do you have here? SNGX.
This is old news. They had a headline last week on Wednesday saying Sologenics receives FDA orphan designation for Descotade. I believe that's how you pronounce it. It's a French company, so I'm probably getting the pronunciation wrong.
Hey, you did a better job than I did. I'll tell you that much.
But if we look at the headline for today, that's what the headline's regarding. They just said it's for Behçet's disease, if that's the correct pronunciation. But in between those headlines, they are also mentioning again that they are getting orphan drug designation for Descotide. So I think I would put a little bit less weight into this one because it does seem like this is rehashed news. But the new thing that I see here came on Friday. They are actually facing NASDAQ compliance with the equity requirement. So they do have maybe at the most 2 quarters of cash, but they could very well raise soon. And we have this comes with a 3.26 million share float that they trade around. So another one that we'll probably have to be careful with, given the compliance and the capital raise that could be coming with this. It looks like it's trading a lot better than VTAC is right now. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's trying to recapture 4. Still might take some time as we head into the open, but it looks like it's trying to turn around right now. Still trading beneath the VWAP. That's going to be at 403, 404. And until we start trying to recapture that level, another one that I think we just need to wait out and see what we end up getting at the open.
Okay. All right. Really good breakdown there. And Tom here, we're going to start with positive vibes on a Monday like we love to do. Absolutely nothing gets by 13. He is the forensic investor. Let me ask you. So one of the reasons that we have this show set up the way that we do is it actually, first of all, it allots for family time in the morning. This is something that every single trader at every single level deals with. The market doesn't wait for anybody. Got to do a bunch of stuff in the morning. But you see here, this is one of the reasons why we have 13 jumping on a little bit later, because if you give him time, he will literally mine for gold in the press releases and the company and then tell us about it. So he's
I got to appreciate that. And I thank you for everybody that you're saying. I don't spend as much time as you think. I just know where to go. And I think that's really what it comes down to.
But, and here's the thing, 13, here's the force multiplier, right? There was a point where you didn't know where to go and you kind of learned it and you learned this process. And now what we're trying to do is we're trying to pass these habits and these steps or whatever onto you folks and doing some of it for you here. There's no reason why any of you in this chat cannot adopt the exact same things that 13 is adopted here. And we have this laid out in a way where we can try and maximize the finite amount of time that we have before the open to get you guys as prepared as possible. So Tom, comments like these, they really mean a lot to us. And 13 just told you how much it means to him.
It really does. I appreciate it, guys. And it's one of the reasons I love coming back here because, if I can help make your life better by giving you information and we can make better trades, then I'm all here for it.
And I have proof positive that that's the case because I know you guys saw me in the chat on Thursday. Yes, I admit it is very hard for me to take a vacation unless I'm literally in the tee box. It is very, very difficult for me to get away from the market, even on a vacation, even when I'm with family friends. By the way, I was the first one up in that house, and I'm in the kitchen on my laptop with the earbuds in, listening to Kevin, like jamming. I'm having a great time. You guys did such a good job. I actually traded more than I do normally because I wasn't hosting, and I was winning. And I was like, this is awesome. So now I know what it feels like from some of you out there on the other side of the screen, and it just gave me more appreciation. And I'm obviously very, very thankful here for Kevin filling in. I know he likes doing that. 13, I thought you guys did a great job. I really did. I thought you guys did a really great job here. The Digital Dino saying 13 and Kevin were great replacements for you, Ryan. Maybe Benzinga will schedule your next vacation for you using AIs. Are you telling me you want me to go on vacation again? Are you telling me you want me out of here and less of me? Let me know. Because if that's the case, you're in luck. I'll be gone on Friday for my second leg of my vacation here today. Okay, we all like Kevin. Kevin is awesome. And you know what? One of the other things here is that this is a group of folks that come from your background. Kevin wasn't as far as I'm aware, I don't want to speak for the guy, but Kevin wasn't formally trained on Wall Street. I wasn't formally trained on Wall Street. 13 wasn't formally trained on Wall Street. And look, we're getting it done. We're getting it done. And that means you all can get it done too. Don't ever forget that. Okay, let's keep rolling through here. The next, I know this wasn't on your list, so we'll kind of do it here together. Next one here was SGD. This is Safe and Green Development, and this should sound familiar because here we go. This thing absolutely started to rip at the end of July. Came all the way back in, and now it's ripping again here today. Let's see what's going on with this one. We did have a PR here from this morning. Safe and Green Development Corporation reports over 3,200% year-over-year revenue growth in Q2 2025. I'm like making sure I'm reading this correctly. 3,200%. Resource Group Integration positions company for accelerated second half performance. Got to be honest with you, this is an eye-popping number in the PR. There might be some devil in the details, as there normally is on this. Stock is only up 13%, but a pretty good pop nonetheless on this near penny stock. This stock, as of the last reading, 50.97% of the float shorted. Wowzors. 1 day to cover on that. That comes on an average volume of 2.5 million. We've only traded. This can't be right. This cannot. No. I see volume prints in here. Okay, so I'm not getting an updated volume. We've definitely traded more than 2,500 shares here today. So
12 million.
12 million shares. Perfect. Okay, so we're still having a data update issue there. Welcome back on a Monday, by the way. Okay, 13. What do you got on this one? What do you think here? You think we see another multi-day run like we did before?
I mean, if we do, it's certainly not going to be ruled out by me, but if we do, it does look like that last run that it had kind of topped out towards the area of 250. I think 236 here was the highest it went. Now, if we do go higher than that, there's still going to be resistance at about the 250 area. If you look to the left, you can see why that is. If it manages to get up through that 250 area, you're going to probably have a hard time getting through some consolidation up in the threes. And then there's some more resistance happening at about 420. That would be the next area above the 250 area, where you're going to probably run into some pretty heavy resistance, if not before the 200-day EMA, which I have at about 348. So we can call it 350. Those would be some of the areas I'd be looking at if we are going to go on a run with this one. And being that we have almost 51% of the float shorted, it's certainly possible.
Yeah.
Off the heels of a 3,200% year-over-year growth in revenue, that might provide the fuel that could get it going up there. I just don't know exactly how far this is going to go, but those levels I would be keeping an eye on. It'd be 250, 350, and 420.
Okay. Horatio saying it's SGD, not SDG. You are correct about that, and I appreciate that. We will sometimes get tickers mixed up here. I apologize in advance for that. We definitely do the best. I'm doing a poor job today by my own standards just because I'm so tired, but appreciate the correction. SGD, I will do my best to not make that error again here today. Okay, a Sassy Butterfly Chick says, yes, me and Rooster love 13 and Kevin. He was great. If I recall from last week, your Rooster's name is Peter, but we also have a Rooster here in the chat, so now I'm doubly confused. But the web of viewers continues to grow here, and we find out more about them. That is awesome. Okay. What else do we have on here? BTAI. I guess this is worth mentioning because this is starting to return to the levels. What was this last Wednesday? We drew a trend line here that we were never able to get over. 13. I'm going to go ahead and extend that here because it almost looks like we tested that here in the pre-market, and I wonder if this would serve as a possible upside target here today.
Possibly. I'm just looking at the daily chart real quick because we did get a move in BTAI that took us all the way up to 808, and we've been backing off ever since, trying to find some support. And it looks like we're starting to get it. We were getting it on Friday. So let's see if we can get a continuation here. It looks like we are, because we are above the close from Friday right now, almost at 7. We do have a bit of a resistance area coming. We're coming up to the 200 EMA on the daily chart, which is 738. So there could be some resistance there. I also see a potential area of resistance at about 805.
Okay.
Those would be the next two areas if we are going to continue to the upside that we may find some resistance.
Okay, good stuff there. BTAI. 13, I'm looking at the rest of these here. There was only Wolf. I know that we actually traded this off of Kevin's call last week. Wolf had a great day on Thursday and actually gave a trade on Friday for the dip buyers here. We're popping here in the pre-market. Did we pop on news? Let's see. Did we have anything else here? Yes, we did. Proposed private offering of 400 million of convertible notes. They also says the Fluid Stack exercises option to expand at TeraWulf's Lake Mariner data center campus in Western New York. TeraWulf expands to a 360 millivolt of contracted IT load, secures a 6.7 billion in revenue with potential upside to 16 billion. Google boosts backstop to 3.2 billion and a stake of 14%. Looks like there's a lot of news going on. Did you roll through any of this on Wolf here?
Not this morning, no.
Okay.
That's all this morning.
Yeah, all of this is this morning. So this is interesting, right? Because we had a pretty interesting week or last 2 days last week. Now we're seeing some more continuation here. I don't want to chase this move. But I think that this Smoke Tuna, bonjour, by the way. It's good to see you again. Let me know if you think this is one of the stocks that really kind of fits our criteria for maybe a morning shake or a morning pullback and then catches and gives us a trading opportunity. I kind of feel like that might be the case here. Quick look around the horn here on this one. 26.5% of the float shorted with 2.08 days to cover. And its average volume is actually pretty high right now, given what happened last week. 51 million shares is your 100-day average. It's traded 108 here today. The float thick on this one at 332 million. That didn't matter last week. Do you have any thoughts on this 13?
Yeah, getting back up to the 10 to 11 area, this might be kind of difficult for the price to get through. And I'm just looking to the left here about what's happened earlier this decade, back in 2022 and 2021. Those 2 years really did give a lot of price action that kind of just hung around a little bit in certain areas. And one of the areas that hung around in for quite some time, from about the end of 2020 to the middle of 2021, was the 10 to 11, maybe even the 10 to $13 area. But I really do think the 10 to $11 area is even more concentrated with sellers and potentially bag holders. So I think that might be a bit, from 10 on might be a little bit of a problematic area to get through. So we'll need to see some large volume. Now they may get that today with the news. And this isn't the one that had the high short interest, but they may get it with the news that they have going on there, all those headlines. So we'll see what happens. But I think it's going to be a little bit of a bouncing around in the 10 to $11 handles before we really start to see some upward motion.
Okay, good stuff here. Smoke Tuna, direct answer to the direct question. Wolf looks like all the moves have happened in the pre-market unless it picks up more volume, which is basically what you were just saying, 13. Yeah. And given, there's a catalyst here, this was a recent mover on volume, so maybe we get that again here today. Okay, good stuff there on Wolf. We talked a little bit about Open, this UNHG. This is a levered ETF for UNH, so there's really nothing to cover here. Someone asked about Run. Run had a huge move on Friday. I didn't participate in this move at all on Friday. And it actually looks like it might be testing the intraday high up here, 1490. I definitely think 15 would be some resistance here. We had some news here that the tax credit guidance from the Trump administration was not going to be as bad as initially thought. Common theme if you've been playing along at home. That really kind of juiced this. RBC, this is this morning here. RBC Capital upgrading Sunrun to outperform and raising the price target to 16. Now, as we've discussed before, this is not just a price target hike. This is an actual upgrade. And Sunrun here looks like it is responding to this. Do we get some more movement today? Maybe. 13, were you on Run or any of the solar stocks on Friday by chance?
No, but the comment you made earlier, or the discussion you had earlier with the gentleman in the chat regarding them being part of that electrical grid, infrastructure. Mm-hmm. This might be kind of one of those things, one of those reasons why we're seeing solar names and some other energy names starting to run because, yeah, our grid is not. My understanding is it's not prepared to handle the massive amounts of data centers we're talking about building. We're going to need some more power capacity. We're going to need some more robust infrastructure so we don't get blackouts or brownouts or any kind of out. I think we're going to probably see a lot of money moving towards electrical infrastructure, and this could be one of those types of things that helps abate the electrical consumption. We have also talked about what are those the type of material? I think it's called vanadium, used for storing electric energy in massive land-based batteries. So it could just be this could just be part of a move to upgrade America's infrastructure. I'm just kind of like thinking out a little bit out loud here, but we're starting to see some of these names that have been really beaten up in the energy space starting to come around, and I'm wondering if that has something to do with it.
My thought here on this whole thing is that I really think that the future for energy in this country, given the data center backdrop, it really is down the road going to be a proliferation of nuclear power generation. But I think every step of the way in the current LNG environment that we're in and the current move towards nuclear, I think that solar is going to be just absolutely along for the ride, just step by step along this entire thing. That is to say, it's going to supplement it, and it's never going to stop doing that. And I think it almost at this point doesn't matter who's in office either. I think that you're going to continue to see this. Maybe you see some reactions based on who's in office or what's being said, but I think ultimately the way this pans out here, solar, I think, is a lot better of a supplemental energy source than something like wind power. And I would imagine that as we continue to move more to nuclear, solar is going to be right there along for the ride. And so I don't think these are really, eventually going to zero or anything. I don't think anything like that. They have been tough to trade. You really kind of have to time this well, but just my thoughts there on Sunrun here. It is up here in the pre-market. As mentioned, the big level is going to be the intraday high from Friday. That exact value, 1487. So I'm thinking 15 bullish here, but 1487. It does look bullish to you, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's the way that's kind of shaping up to try and take out the high from Friday. It looks like it's trading into an ascending triangle. We'll see if we end up getting that.
Okay.
But it's got to take out that high from Friday, which was what, 1487, and we're on the doorstep right there. So we'll see what we end up getting out of the open. It might have a pull, but I think that this looks like it's trying to take out 15.
Okay. Good morning to anyone else that I missed. EKS, Anil, Ross, Marben, Dip Buyer 401k. That is a awesome YouTube handle, by the way. Dive Deep Dov. I love the alliteration there. So good morning to all of you folks here.
Did you happen to read any of the stuff I sent on Roblox to you?
You know what? I didn't. Full disclosure here, big time shout out to the Squawk team here at Benzinga. We got news last week on Roblox having being investigated. Let me actually go back to it here. I believe it was not this one on Friday. I can't remember exactly. I think it was right in here. I think it wasn't Wednesday. It was either Thursday or Friday. Maybe it was, I have to go back in the news. There was a squawk here. You know what? I can just check the transcription. Ryan, what are you doing? Why are you wasting time? This came from 8:14. Yep, 8:14. So that was Thursday. So on Thursday, we actually got a squawk that the Department of Justice or whatever was opening an investigation here. We got some news on all of this. Attorney General finds child protection lawsuit against Roblox. The stock dropped on this headline right when we got it, and I played it just for a bounce. 13, I knew that this was not a hold, and I had seen that you had sent me a whole bunch of stuff here, but dude, with the vacation and then the delayed point, I didn't get to any of it yet. So break this down for us. What's going on here, and what do we think about Roblox going forward here for the purpose of a trade?
So the news here is that the Louisiana Attorney General has filed a lawsuit against Roblox because they are essentially harboring child predators. There's a number of different streamers and creators on Roblox that have massive followings that are starting to leave the platform because Roblox is not doing anywhere near enough in order to combat this problem. They're essentially allowing the child predator situation to exist. Now, the problem with that's going on with this is that this will open up. I know I'm leaving out a lot of information about how it got to this point, and if you want to go down that road, we're going to be here for a while. So you might want to just kind of look at that up on your own time. But the point is that they are being investigated for this, and this could lead to some discovery that Roblox probably doesn't want out there. So, and this could lead to a lot of what their biggest growth factor is, which are daily average use or daily active users, and that could start to go down as well. But there was also another point that I had here, and I think I sent it to you. There could be another similar situation that was happening with Steam, where payment processors like Visa and MasterCard and PayPal were being pressured by outside activist groups to stop payment processing on those gaming platforms because they were selling content they didn't like. So now we're getting into a situation where we have another gaming platform that is, being accused of harboring pedophiles and predators. And I'm just waiting for those activists to really, hammer Visa and MasterCard and these other payment processors to do something about the Roblox situation. All in all, this is not a very good situation for Roblox. And I think that we are going to really see this thing continue to come in. It wouldn't surprise me if we start going back underneath where we, or come down to where we were when we started closing over the 50-day SMA back in April. We could give up all this. So I think this is a very bad situation. I'll get some more details on this for you, but
wow,
this is going to be. I mean, I and that's what I want you to see this message I sent you because
I will do that
funny.
tonight.
I nailed the rally in this, and just before this news is announced, the day before, I said I think Roblox is going to flash a bear signal. And then it has that, and we lose the 20-day SMA. Now, the 20-day SMA, I've been mentioning with other stocks, very important moving average. Once we start closing under this, that could be the signal that we need that we're seeing some downside or going to be some continued downside in that stock for a period of time. So it's been riding the 20-day up for since April. Now we're starting to lose it. I think this is going to end up getting weaker, especially on the heels of this news. I'm bearish Roblox.
Okay. That's really good. I almost wonder if there's a trade here if we snap this 113 50-day moving average to the downside for a potential swing lower here. I mean, you're talking about the breakout level back from April on the 50. I mean, that was $60. This stock could legitimately get cut in half if that price target comes to fruition.
I think this is really bad, a really bad situation for Roblox. You remember how I was kind of all over the ATVI situation with the sexual harassment?
Yep.
I'm going to try and cover this one like that. I think I know what's going to happen here with Roblox, and it's not going to be very good. I think this is in some real trouble, especially because they don't make money. They just lose it every quarter. They just have that growth angle, and this really hurts their growth angle, I think.
Okay. Just some thoughts here from the chat. Tara say we run gaming servers, and the problem with Roblox is at the current time that while it's designed for really small children, it's now being run with more adult tilts to it. I don't know how that will affect the stock, but I'm sure it will have a negative effect. Looks like that's kind of already started here. Good morning, James, by the way. Great to see you again, James. I hope you had a great weekend. And then also Parvez, yes, we can take a look at BMNR. Good morning. Jeremy saying, yeah, no chatting on Roblox for our kids unless it's with friends at school. I don't trust anyone online. I don't blame you, Jeremy. I really don't. It's crazy. I used to think back to when I was a kid and none of this was a problem. People just wanted to play their Diablo 2 online. That's it. And now it's morphed into all of this other stuff. And then there was another interesting comment here. From Empyrean. Roblox as a game is fine. It just needs more active moderators. So this is interesting to me. You're proposing a potential solution to this. They just don't want to shell out that kind of money. I know on a much different scale, I know that even having moderators here in the Benzinga Pro chat room, thank you, 13, is very, very important for maintaining order. And I almost wonder what this would do for them. I think even if they go this route, Empyrean, you might have some margin compression going on as they have this new expense that they have to do or that they have to pay out. And maybe that might make for a credible thesis for this stock to move lower. So I'd be curious if anyone has a counter thesis to this, like a bullish thesis on Roblox that might cause it to bounce at one of these moving averages. So far, both 13 and the chat here really outlining more downside for Roblox here on some very, very serious issues.
Yep.
So really good stuff here on Roblox. Really, really good stuff.
Blaze Rhino, that is absolutely true. They are not taking responsibility on this. And I understand that they could fix this and it would be costly, but they're not doing that. They're trying to push against that, and that's what's really going to hurt them. You're absolutely right about that. They do point the finger a lot.
Yeah. Michelle, I grew up when there were no cell phones, but I played on the street outside my house with no worries of anything happening. I did the same thing. I played a lot of roller hockey outside, and our biggest worry was, is there a car coming? Because we need to get the net out of the damn street.
Car.
Amazing how things have changed.
Every time. Car. That's what every kid in the street would say whenever we saw someone coming down the street, so we could get out and resume afterwards. You did it too. You did it yourself.
Absolutely. Car. Yep, I remember it. Absolutely, 13. You are dead on. Okay. Let's see. We've got 5 minutes here. We covered Apple, Wolf. You guys also wanted to take a look at Bloom Energy. I suspected that might be on the movers list here today. It isn't. Bloom Energy here. Big thing is that this has just been an absolute monster recently. There were a number of folks that were super early in our chat here on Bloom Energy. In fact, we're going to give a retroactive one up for that. Here's the deal with this move. I can't help it. I almost think that this is chasing. I'd love a pullback here to 40. I think that might set up for another move higher. 13, what do you think here on Bloom Energy? I know we've got some increasing volume here. We've got overbought signals. We've got a price that's really pretty much doubled in what, a month, 2 months? What do you think on this?
Yeah, and to your point about chasing, I feel like there's not a whole lot of meat left on the bone right now for this. So chasing would be absolutely the definition I would go with. We have a very extended RSI. We just hit new all-time highs. Now, I don't think that this is in a bad theme. We're still talking about energy and new types of energy, and we're talking about our grid system as well. But this thing, I agree with you. This is pretty extended. Maybe it goes on a little bit more of a run. I could still potentially see that, and I'll kind of give you an idea of why I see that. Does your chart go back to 2018?
No, not this one.
Okay, because there's a bit of a trend line that we can draw starting from October of 2018, going through the high of February of 2021. And if we keep that going, that would place the price, if we ran up to this trend line today, that would be about $58.50 that this could run to. So I could see the potential for more upside, but I think to actually get there meaningfully, we would have to pull back and find a base and then go make new all-time highs on the way up to that trend line. I think that would be a healthier type of price action. That's not going to result in a massive pull. But if we just run up to there, then we could potentially get a pretty big reversal to the downside. So that's what I wouldn't want to see. But I think there still could be potential for this to go a little bit higher, but I just wouldn't be buying it up here.
Okay. Good stuff there. That was Bloom Energy. The other one that we had on here was IQ, and then we also had Tesla. I'm sure we'll take a look at Tesla during the regular session, as we are likely going to get some option trades for that. IQ here, pretty interesting. This actually has earnings in 2 days, so keep that in mind. If you're going to trade this, it comes Wednesday morning prior to the market opening. It does look like this double bottom is pretty solidified here at 164. We've kind of moved up above that, and today... Actually, it was, today. So interesting. So on Friday, we peaked above the 200, could not close above it. Actually, on some pretty good volume. Today, we gap above that considerably. Let me actually take a look here. Yeah, so today we're gapping above that. Would love to see it close above this level. I'm not sure what's going on with this one. No, I don't think there's really any recent news here.
It's a streaming video on demand company in China.
Okay, so I'm not sure what is going on here with this. Chart does look like the bottom is put in, but I would say trade this at your own risk.
It competes directly with Tencent Video, Alibaba's Youku, and ByteDance's Mango TV, and Bilibili. The company is 45% and 5% owned by Baidu and Xiaomi, respectively. So there could be something that, if you see Baidu having a great day, maybe this moves too, and vice versa.
Okay. All right, folks, we are less than a minute until we open. I'm going to flip over to the main workspace 13. I'm going to put on, I think, ASBP here. Nope, that's a penny stock. What do we have here? SGD from the movers list. Go ahead and give your rundown like you normally do. I'm going to go to the washroom and be right back as soon as we open here.
Okay. SGD, we did cover this one. So this one trying to find some support here into the open. Still going to wait and see what we end up getting here. We got 15 seconds left. It looks like it's trying to, trail a little bit lower here. But we do want to see a recapture of VWAP. I have that valued at about 160. So if we do turn around here, that's going to be one of the earlier areas that might knock its head on. Also 155 here. We are open. Let's see what we end up getting. SNGX also taking a look at, VTAK also watching, and then of course PPCB, one of the earlier ones we were looking at this morning. This looks like PPCB. Looks like it may have finally found some support. Let's see if it can start recapturing these levels, like VWAP and the 200 and the 65 EMAs on the 5-minute. Matter of fact, we're making our way right up towards the 200 EMA right now, and through it, trying to go for the 65. So right off the bat, PPCB is already given a good move out of the gate, but might run into some trouble at the VWAP, which I have at 683. Samel, you're mentioning run. We'll have Ryan take a look at that. And then Danielle saying ATNF renamed ETHZ. All right, Ryan. So we just got some nice movement out of PPCB out of the gate here. Looks like IQ is also starting to move. Pedro, we'll look at Okta in just a second. Let's get through some of these movers that are making a dash to the upside and downside, depending on which one you're looking at. Looks like Wolf just moved through or up to 1039. BTAI holding at its 65 EMA. SGD not really going anywhere but down. There's another move down. Okay, so now starting to get some movement to the downside with SGD. I'm going to wait on that one. SNGX, this is kind of going sideways, still holding above a couple of its EMAs. And its VWAP is at 370, so we're right there right now. Let's see if it can hold it or not. VTAC, this one looks like it got rejected by its VWAP, and looks like we're getting a little bit of pull in PPCB as well.
Yeah, it looks like this is pulling back here. I was going to say that actually did look like it might make a run towards its VWAP, but it just lost 6 here.
Hey, thank you for mentioning that, Jay Rice, and good morning to you. Yes, Bull just ran up to 1707. Now we're getting a little bit of a pull. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say this actually just bounced right in front of my eyes. I was too slow to get an order here, but this is PPCB here. Sorry, I can follow you around there. I was just mesmerized by the bounce that took place.
No problem. That was great that PPCB is doing that, because we were waiting for this to find some kind of a bottom before it turned around. So it looks like it's trying to get going here, but still running into some resistance. What is that? Is that your VWAP or 200?
Yeah. So this purple line that it's running into at 620 is the 200 EMA.
Okay. All right.
And I've got the 65 EMA not far above that at 666.
Gotcha. Okay. So, and then we're just looking at Bull that had a nice pop up to 1707. I'm still looking for 18 plus in this one, getting a pullback after that run up to 17. So we might see it go red here, but still looking for some more upside. It's just a lot of sellers to chew through on the way back up.
Okay. Tesla here. I know we wanted to take a quick look at Tesla out of the gate. This ripping out of the gate here. Haven't noticed anything on the unusual options here, but Tesla reclaiming 332 here. Actually looks like it might be trying for 335. Did also see some Wolf calls here. Wolf looks like it tried to go out of the gate, but it's actually trying to hold 10 at the moment. PPCB now up to the VWAP. So this would be a first lighten area on that little trade. Well, actually, I've got a significantly different VWAP in my broker than I do here in TradingView, but a nice move here nonetheless. PPCB. This is over $1 move now from those $5 lows we just tested.
So far, one of the better ones this morning. Looks like VCAC is also trying to come around here. It has a bit of a wall of sellers at 430 that it has to work its way through. SNGX also trying to turn around. SGD not turning around yet. There may be a seller walking this down. There's a large concentration of orders that are continuing to move down with the price. Looks like it's gone now. It was about at 138.
VTAC, big pull here, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Do we have the next support level in here? 377. Actually, looks like that's what kind of stopped it down here.
Could be 375, 377, that area right there. If we go beneath that, I have the 65 EMA at 344. Yeah, some of these are getting a little bit of pullback here. Wolf, after hitting 1040, came back in. BTAI lost that 65 EMA, so still have to wait on that one. Maybe this consolidation from the pre-market where it found some support also kicks in here with the regular session as well. So, looks like SNGX is trying to make its next move up through 4. Was one of the levels we were looking here. And I like the way the MACD is. This one might actually get through 4 if the volume continues to expand.
So Smoke Tuna saying SNGX is ready. Sell H, this ripping out of the gate here. SNGX now above its VWAP.
Yeah. I've just ran into 4, got a little bit of pressure there, but still trying to move higher. Like I said, if this volume continues to expand, we're gonna go higher. Probably even take out that pre-market high at 445. PPCB been the best mover so far. As a matter of fact, we may be trading into a halt now to the upside.
SNGX pulling back to its VWAP and actually losing it right there.
Not halted yet in PPCB, still rising. We did have that that stop in price action, and it started to concentrate around one area, but now it's beyond that. So still moving around. PPCB losing 8 and coming back in a little bit. Looks like almost everything is doing that at the moment.
SNGX, this is a battle going on at the VWAP. I've got it at 393 in TradingView, and I've got it at 394 in my broker. So those line up here. It's trying to get back above it. I would actually be Smoke Tuna, I know you said that this one is ready. What do you think about this VWAP battle right here? If it loses this, might it need some time to cool off? Yeah, there's a little bit of a pullback here. It's right back on. That's tough to read there. We'll see. SNGX. PanW cratering ahead of its earnings here today.
Well, it's almost down 1%. Let's take a look at this other chart here. See what we got. Oh, so we kind of we drew a trend line on this one, and it looks like this may have been triple top.
Is this PanW?
Yeah.
Load that up here real quick. Still kind of watching SNGX here. I'm curious to see if this makes another, really last note here on SNGX. If that does recapture the VWAP and move through 4, it might be a decent run. I don't know if it's got the strength to do that. What do you got here with PanW? Daily chart for that?
Yeah, you'll probably see the triple top area I'm referring to, just looking at the highs from December of last year, February of this year, and then most recently July. So it could be a triple top here that we're experiencing. We just lost a lot of these moving, smaller. I'm sorry, not smaller.
SNGX through 4 right there. There was actually some big size that it ate on SNGX.
And this looks like it did bounce off the 500-day SMA, but it doesn't look like it's finished yet. Another test of the 500-day SMA might be coming later, possibly this week. So we'll see if that happens. We want to see a recapture of the 200 if we want to come back up and try and break through this trend line that I just pointed out. But I don't know, because that 200-day SMA has been great support since April, and now it's resistance. So I don't know if we're going to get a recapture of that soon. Okay, SNGX.
So I think the trend, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of going back. I think this is the trend line that you're talking about.
No. Not the trend line that I was referring to that gave us a triple top? You have it there already.
Oh, okay. You're talking about that other one up there. Well,
Yeah.
okay. I'm actually going to delete this on PanW because I want to see what happens after the earnings report. But that's okay. Good breakdown there, 13. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Back to SNGX here. It is holding now through 414 is the high print. We'll see if this goes. It did scalp this here. See if we get another move higher. 410's got some size there. I don't see prints there yet. We'll see if they hit that there. Smoke Tuna still calling for this to rocket.
Okay. And it could. I mean, if we get up through that 445, I think that he's right. We're off.
And I'll tell you something, these little pulls, now that we've recaptured the VWAP, they haven't really yanked it back to and through the VWAP, so it actually looks pretty good. Number of you folks talking about open. Jay Rice, good to see you again, Jay. Mentioning open here, new high. Pavel saying, can you please take a look at open door? Here you go. So we are right up to the pre-market high from Friday. This spot here, let's see if we get above it. Let me actually see what the size looks like there. SNGX is going. I'm going to take it off my screen now, so I'm sure it's going to moon.
We got a golden cross on open on you could be Thursday or Friday, whichever one of those days you want to put it on. But we're seeing the 50 having moved over the 200. That's a good signal. We may end up seeing prints higher than 5 this week.
It looks like 368 was stopping it right there with some pretty huge size. It's backed off that spot now, but still worth watching here on open. That spot, clearly, this is where it was stopping it in the pre-market on Friday. That spot's still in play here today.
Applied Materials showing a pulse is Joseph Schmo. Yeah, this open door. I mean, I don't think I really need to speak too much on this. It looks like 4 is going to be a big area too. We're getting a big pull in SNGX, by the way. Okay,
let's see here. So it did the opposite. Oh my God.
And this might be an opportunity. We'll see.
I was going to say here, we didn't actually break these lows. 13, I can't help it. Maybe this doesn't mean anything, but I see kind of like a trend line on these lows here that it's holding so far.
Could be.
SNGX.
And good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, Amanda.
Looks like VTAC is also doing something similar. It did have a hard time getting through or over VWAP. Now it's moving over it in this current candle. Got to get through some of these smaller EMAs, but VTAC is trying to go higher here. Now it's getting pulled back down. So I still think it's worth keeping an eye on VTAC as well, because it looks like this wants to, at the very least, go to 460.
VTAC might be putting in a bottom there. PPCB getting mentioned here as that's going.
Yep. Best one of the morning so far.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
There was another one. Okay, so BTAI, that's all the way down to its 200 EMA. Waiting to see if this one's going to, put in any kind of reversal at this level. It might, but nothing solid for me quite yet. It looks okay, and this is the third candle out of the open, so might get some support here and start turning green. But good. I'm just going to wait.
Good mention, Tuna, here on open. We did take out that pre-market high from Friday, so open now continuing here. You folks trading this one for another short squeeze leg on open?
Getting another pull in PPCB. If you were taking profit in the 8s, I mean, we're still in the 8s, but if you were taking profit, probably not a bad idea. I don't know how much more upside is going to be happening after this candle. It might come in, get some support, and then go higher. Don't know yet. We have nothing but green candles out of the gate here with this one. So just waiting for that pullback, which I anticipate will be coming.
S&P futures peaked above its VWAP here and actually reversed. S&P futures moving negative now, down 0.12%. Open continuing to try and push higher here.
We are still seeing some signs of those bounce in BTAI. So maybe that 200 EMA does hold up, but I want to see volume expand a little bit more than this. It looks like it's starting to drift away.
Let's see if 608 can get held there. PPCB, it looks like that was another push to the highs. Bloom Energy, which we talked about earlier here, finally saw some calls there. Was that a big one? That was the 45 call. So it looks like that is an at the money call Near, yeah, $500,000 on that trade. Bloom Energy looks like more upside there. Expiry on that was November. So there's a little bit of a time horizon on that trade.
Here we are with SNGX trying to recapture 4 now after it had lost. It sold off to about halfway down 3, and it's recaptured almost all of that, trying to hold above VWAP right now.
So that trend line that we added here really holding up so far.
Yes, sir.
No, I did scalp this once. No positions on for right now. Wait for another setup here.
PPCB trying to push 9 again. This one's got a little bit of a spread to it, but it seems like it's still got some good volume as well.
Wolf might be trying to go higher here too. Here's PPCB. I'm going to leave this up and blow my nose again. I'm sorry, man.
Sounds good. And looks like BTAI is trying to turn around at that 200 EMA on the 5-minute, but volume is still lower than I'd like. So no interest in this quite yet, but I am keeping an eye on it because we would like to see this turn around. What else? Wolf kind of just still going sideways. Hasn't returned to that 1040 high, but it's not too far away from it either. SGD trying to get some support from the 65 EMA on the 5-minute. I'm not convinced the downside's finished here. This may still go lower. I think there's better support at about 120. So we'll see if we end up getting that. Meanwhile, PPCB wants 9. And it looks like it's trying to get it here. There's a fight at 9.
Tess, good morning. It's good to see you again. Did they cover Lulu? We did not.
No.
So Lulu popping here out of the open. They've got a price target lower from 290 to 240 at UBS. That looks to be I don't really see any other news here on Lulu. Am I missing something on this?
I'll look in just a second here. I'm just taking a look.
Yeah, it's all good.
BLSH because that was asked. We were asked what we think about it. I think I'm not really interested in this until we get some kind of a bottom forming here. We are making new lows for the stock, and this stock's only been out for a few days. But
this chart reminds me of Voyager 13.
So it's going to take a voyage to the south, basically, is what you're saying. Like I said, I would wait on this one. I would want to see some actual footing, and it doesn't look like even after the IPO it's got that yet. So for me, I'm not interested in BLSH yet.
Okay, Burry bought Lulu. I think that's probably what you guys are talking about. Yeah, again, sorry I missed all that this weekend. Was not on that here. Lulu was one of the positions they put on Tasty Conference on Friday, and it was an excellent day. Okay.
PPCB over 9. Well done, everybody that's taken that one. We also have VTAC still having a hard time getting above VWAP. SNGX getting close to some new session lows, not new ones yet, but pretty close. SGD still trying to get some support from that 65 EMA. I'm still waiting to see if that's going to hold up. BTAI still trying to get some support from the 200 EMA. No position in that one either. Going to wait for that. Wolf, meanwhile, this is trying to go up to that 1040 high of the regular session and higher. There's some sellers in the way, though, so might have a hard time getting up and through 1040 on this current volume.
Wolf does look like that's trying to move higher.
Big Bear, you're up 80% from BLSH IPO.
I think he got in a allotment at the IPO price of like $30-something.
Okay.
If I recall correctly, when we were talking about BLSH. On this new lows here. So let me take a look here real quick. So this was an acquisition for 12 million. We got a piece of news here, 13, but it happened while I had already started and I hadn't looked into it. So I'm going to do that now here real quick. Strategic acquisition of robotics innovator Apiro Motion. I'm going to have to look that one up. So interesting that the capital raise that we just saw in Ondas looks like they're doing that for transactions.
Okay.
And here's your first one.
That's something that we had talked a lot about. When you were here and when Kevin was here. We were, hey, what do you think about the offering? And they've been doing really well since the offering. Yeah, because the offering, we were viewing it as something they needed in order to get that cash to expand at the pace they needed to, because trying to go through the traditional way of getting a loan from a bank, it take time. They needed it fast. Do an offering, get that money out there, and then we can start making these business moves happen. So that's what they did. By the way, VTAC trying to get back above some of these smaller EMAs, the 9 and the 15s, going through them now above VWAP. This might be turning around here. VTAK. Sorry to jump from one to the next.
No, it's quite all right.
We are getting a little bit of a pull here in PPCB, so we could be looking at some of the other ones to start moving next. Looks like SGD is trying to turn around as well, but it's still beneath its VWAP, trying to recapture that.
Ondas basically getting a Piro free under the terms of the agreement. Ondas will acquire 100% of the transaction valued at $12 million. Okay, that actually looks pretty good. That sounds pretty good. VTAC here back down to some of the, it looks like that 410 was that level from that moving average. That was the 9 EMA there.
Yeah, I have 9 EMA at 410 and the 15 at 411, 412.
Okay, so it was those two in conjunction.
They're
got
right
it.
in the same area almost. They're still providing that pressure because this candle is getting the price pushed back down beneath it. So still need to see some closes. We have about 10 seconds left in this candle, so we'll see what happens. And big pull here in PPCB, that brought it down to the VWAP. Looks like we're still trying to wait for SNGX to make that move. It's still trading beneath its VWAP. And BTAI lost the 200 EMA. So still no, not taking anything there. Just might have to wait that one out if we are going to do anything at all with that one.
Smoke Tuna, this VTAC is popping here a little bit, 13, now above 420. 450 is about where that VWAP is. Smoke Tuna mentioning MB here, Master Beef. This actually has moved up out of the open right to that 509. That is going to be your 200 EMA.
That VTAC still having a hard time with those two EMAs, because look at now we're getting a push right back beneath them and VWAP at the same time. That's rough. Be careful with VTAC.
And it makes it tough to buy any of the breakouts on those moving averages, right? Because it just keeps coming back in.
Yeah,
it doesn't actually have any continuation.
Yeah, I kind of want to see like closes, above those moving averages. We are getting a little bit of a revival here with PPCB. It's not making new highs, but it's holding above its VWAP.
Open going for new highs, though.
All right, here we go. We are getting a little bit of a movement here, some positive movement in SNGX. See if it can take out some of those session highs. The pre-market is 445. That's the high there.
SNGX, yeah, right at the battle at VWAP. IPA, Blaze Runner, don't you think it's a little too early in the morning for beer? Just kidding. This is ticker IPA, immunoprecise antibodies. This actually power candle out of the open. Looks like it's struggling with 260. You're high off that initial candle there, 265. Did this have news on it? Why is this up 10%? No, looks like the most fresh news here was from Wednesday of last week.
Yeah, open the new session high of 378.
Smoke Tuna is calling for 4 here on open.
Oh, I believe that'll happen too. Absolutely.
VTAC, by the way, pulling to the bottom end of the standard deviation from VWAP. That thing's been totally weak here. And I'll tell you what, that little bounce there, I'm almost wondering if that sucked people in.
Which one?
The little bounce that we had right through 4, that took us right through 4 on VTAC, right to those EMAs that you were talking about. Gotcha. I wonder if that sucked in some long buyers there. Tough stuff for VTAC. We need something to change there. Open, however, the opposite, continuing to push higher here. Tara says, what I don't understand with Ondas, each time I see good information coming out in a business decision, this drops instead of going up. So there's 2 things going on here. Number one, they did PR a lot of things that sounded and read really well, but didn't actually have any type of bleed through to the bottom line, or at least no proof of that. And we were kind of waiting for that to change. It seems like that's the case now. The other aspect of that, though, is that there's a large contingent of FinTwit traders in here that are following a big account. in here. And what happens is when you get a piece of news, they're like, okay, we got to sell on the news here. Stock popped a little bit in the pre-market, got sold off. I think that eventually is going to kind of bleed through the system, I would say.
You mentioned Voyager earlier, and still keeping an eye on what's going on with SpaceX. They're looking at potentially their next Starship launch this weekend. So we might see some better trading happening in Voyager. Just putting that out there. I'll get some more information on that, but it's looking like, based on some not Mars filing and comments out of SpaceX, it could be Sunday we see that launch. All right.
Moderna here maybe trying to go through Friday's high. This has kind of been on an upswing the last couple of sessions. You were talking about Meta. Got mentioned in the chat.
Yeah, I just got mentioned as the weakest in the Mag 7. And, I think that's fine, because it was having a great week last week. At least I thought it was. Looks like we did make some new all-time highs last week. But mostly sideways price action. Now we're down at the bottom of where this island is. Maybe that's an island, isn't it? That's one of your islands?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? We test this 20-day SMA and then break 800?
All my stats are off because here, I know it's hard to see. Let me go to a bigger chart here on Meta. It might be a little bit easier to see. Let me show you why I think the play is already played out. I mean, okay. you can watch for this, and if it holds, you can still trade it the same way. You just kind of have to be nimble. Your percentage of this being successful might have gone down. So you'll take a look here, 13. On the initial gap day, we popped and we came back in. This probably invalidated some of that because we dropped beneath the actual impulse bottom of the candle, but it still gave us what we were looking for, right? It kind of traded around for a little bit and then bang, popped and set some new highs. Now it's rolling back over. Look, a 348, this test of the 20, like you were kind of just talking about, I think that this would make sense for an attempt. But again, be nimble because there's no guarantee here with the island setup.
I like the point you just made about that second candle following the gap up. You know where we closed that day? $750.01. I think that's going to be a support area.
750. I think that's pretty
just
clear.
Just saying, it might be. We have. I think traders are saying we got to close above 750. Fine, do it by a penny. We're good.
CNBC has a bunch of Chinese robots attempting to play soccer.
Oh yeah, they had the humanoid Olympics or something.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
That is interesting. I guess I'll just try and be PC here. SNGX getting called by Tuna.
I think it's a little early for humanoid Olympics. The robots are. I don't think they're where they need to be in order to be competitive like that. But whatever they want to do.
I'll tell you what, the little clip that I saw there, I'm not trying to judge a book by its cover, but the little clip that I saw there did not see like a great soccer match. And with the Premier League being back as of last weekend, I don't know. Yeah,
I think I'll still watch football.
Yeah, I will definitely. I will definitely be doing that.
So we're just waiting for this SNGX to make that move. It looks like it's trying to get back over the VWAP right now in order to have that happen. $4 is still going to be a resistance area. Just need to get that volume expansion. Let's see if we get it here. Need to see. We need to see like
there's the VWAP takeout. Almost wonder if they go to 4 here now. 13.
Yeah, it's trying. I think we're going to hit 4, but there is a concentration of sellers at 4. So whether or not we get through that, that's the question mark for me.
Got it.
Rams house is Muad'Dib. There's could be a soccer game which a metal board that. Oh, we had stuff like that too. Joseph. You had that.
That was like the football game.
The
like
football one.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah, and then later on we had the air hockey where they would send jets of air underneath the board.
I loved those air hockey tables, dude.
Oh, yeah.
That and the bubble hockey. That was probably 2 of my favorite games from childhood.
Remember arcades? Remember those things?
Oh yeah, dude. I do. Remember Time Crisis? I thought that was the coolest thing ever when that first came out in the arcade. News on Wolf. We will check. Thanks, Mark, for the heads up. Let's check. I hope this is not the news that we talked about earlier. TeraWolf launches 400 million convertible notes offering to fund data center expansion. Isn't that what we were just talking about, though? Private offering.
We covered that news this morning.
No. So none of this is. I was just reading the last post here, but none of this is new. We covered all of this.
Yeah. They proposed it, and then I guess that's the difference, is that they're launching it, because everything else was a proposal, and now it's happening. But this is private offering. This is not shared edition. Not yet, anyway. They're convertibles, so they could be. Short float, 26.5% for TeraWolf, so certainly going to help push it up, but having a hard time with 10.
SNGX here, right at the VWAP. We're still waiting for that move through 4, and then I've got the high print there at, I think, 414, 445 in the pre-market.
And there's we have some sellers at 4 and 405, but there's a large concentration at 410. So your 414 area, going to run into that sellers at 410. Looks like PCB is now under 8. Careful, this might have lost a lot of its steam, and so it's going to probably come back in at the very least to VWAP, probably even more though.
SGD, this looks really bad. This pretty much round trip that move, and actually looks like it wants to go lower. Maverick.
Yep, you got it. Go ahead.
I'm waiting for the chart to load here. This did pop here a little bit. It's holding higher than 10 here, but the volume really compressing. Would want to see that actually pick up a little bit for a new trade here. I'm not going to chase this candle higher.
So, so thank you, Claw. So he's saying SPY, Qs, and IWM all going digging. Notice he didn't mention the DIA. So we're seeing that one go higher today. It's kind of just, it's got a bit of a decline, but it's not, it's still about the, no change. It's pretty close to that. So I guess it's not having as bad of a day as some of the other ETFs that track the index.
Do you think the market is waiting at all for the conference with the European leaders and Zelensky today? That, again, is happening in the afternoon. So I'm wondering if we're going to get, official reports of what happened during those meetings after the market closes again, like we did last week with the summit. I wonder if there are people just kind of waiting that out, unsure of what the next move is going to be.
Well, we do have the economic symposium that's happening from the 21st to the 23rd. That's probably going to be something that a lot of people are going to be taking, watching, because they want to see what Powell's going to say, how he's going to, express him, what he's going to say.
We covered that this morning. That's cool. Going to be from Thursday to Saturday. The big key cog there is Powell speaking on Friday, and like you were trying to finish up with there, Tom Lee has made some recent notes about wanting him to have a conciliatory tone, right? Like kind of bending towards rate cuts. So to your point, I think the market is probably waiting for that as well. Just the more immediate thing is the meeting here today. What that means for stocks, though,
hey,
your guess is as good as mine.
You want to draw a trend line on SNGX, see if we break this thing pretty soon? Because I see a trend line.
For SNGX?
SNGX, yeah. You got that high from the pre-market, the high of the regular session. Draw a line through those two. We're going to, I think the next time we go visiting up to this trend line, there's a potential breakout.
Okay, and you know what's awesome about that is that we've got a trend line on the downside as well. So now we have a triangle that this can compress in.
Good morning, Lion.
Good morning, Lion. Welcome back. Joe saying, Ryan, very low volume for a Monday. Just my impression. I am working off of about 3 hours of sleep. Maybe that's why. Maybe I'm not as excited as I normally am. Clearly, I have the sniffles from the airplane. But I don't think
all doors stayed on.
No one else has mentioned that my audio sounds any different. It's probably just a lack of energy on my part.
Here we go with SNGX. We just tested 4. Give us the trend line break, buddy. Charles is mentioning that GDRX is breaking resistance. We can take a look at that one too. Here we go with SNGX. Give us that trend line break, baby.
413 is the high print that I have. I think I said 414 earlier. Here,
There we go.
oh my, there it is. So so we have some congratulations to pass out here real quick. First of all, for anyone that traded this, awesome stuff. Smoke Tuna gets a 1-up for saying that it's going to rocket, and 13 gets a 1-up for saying, hey, watch this trend line, because if it breaks, it could go, and look exactly what happened. Happened fast.
Right to 435. Woo.
Happened fast.
Yep.
Thank you, Lion, and thank you, 3D.
All right, so hey, not a bad morning so far, with a lot of these things working out pretty well as we're viewing them. So here we go, SNGX. And they're even bigger.
Oh, this is going to halt, isn't it? 468 is that a halt level? No, they backed it off.
Not yet. Yeah, but wow, what a move. So a new high just broke over the pre-market high as well. Don't be afraid to pay yourselves on the way up, folks. Make sure that you're taking some gains.
Joe, Ryan, you're doing fine. I was talking about trading volume. LOL, Joe. LOL, Joseph. I'm so slow. I didn't even get that initially here. It does kind of feel low. I've got a bad reading there. Give me 1 sec though.
You guys
need to traded 7 million shares by now.
Yeah, you guys just need to give Ryan just a little bit of space. He just got back. He's jet lagged. He's tired. He's got the jet plane allergies. He's back. Let's give him some space.
I just made a mistake. That's all.
No, Ryan, you need your rest.
I honestly, I cannot wait to put my feet up on the couch later today. It is going to be awesome. American Airlines was the airline of record, by the way. Just throwing it out there. That SNGX, we pulled back to the top standard deviation band from the VWAP. I don't know if this is going to pull all the way back to VWAP. That was a hell of a move, though.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and it could still go higher. But like I was saying, have some levels where you are planning on taking some profit. Pay yourself on the way up, so that we saw how this moved up very, very fast. We don't want this moving down very, very fast and not have our stops or anything ready. So make sure you're prepared for the next series of moves in SNGX here. This thing is still pretty thin at 3 million shares.
I'll tell you what, that break higher, though, that was great. And you know what else was great about that? That gave some time to kind of play at this earlier. I've scalped this twice here today. And also the other thing is that little volume pop and that break above the trend line and now the pre-market highs, this actually might put it in play all day. In fact, if you look at the daily chart, this recent level, I don't think this is out of the question here. 538, definitely not out of the question today.
Looks like I'm not going to. I was going to say it looks like Voyager had news, but I don't want people getting into this thing without some actual Starship news, because I don't think that any news that this gets is probably not going to create a run for it unless it has to do with Starship. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong about that, but I don't think you are. I was just mentioning that because it's moving up. It had a big move up past 30, and it had some news about them investing in latent AI to drive edge computing and Golden Dome efforts.
Open, that is still up near the highs. Webcoin saying VTAC is looking strong. What are you seeing here, Webcoin? This thing has really not been strong since the market opened here. It's had a number of kind of fake pops to the upside that have not materialized. Maybe I'm missing something here.
Here's what I like about VTAC. So you see in the pre-market when we've got these first two big green candles, the impulse moves up. Look at that area right between the two of those candles. It's 375. If you look to the right from that, you can see that 375 is where we've been getting support. Now we're down here testing it right now, so it needs to hold up. I think if we start closing under 375, VTAC's probably not going to be one we want to deal with.
SNGX, sorry to interrupt. SNGX popped to a new 480 high here.
Woo,
we just talked about that having another upside level. Congrats, SNGX.
Yep.
Bill Seeley 4 going green, boys. That's what we like to hear, Bill. Let's go.
Greenage.
SNGX, I'll tell you what, I kind of wish I was still in this one as this continuing to push. Really good stuff here. Really good calls from the group here.
Absolutely.
Smoke Tuna, thank you for, without even us asking, you just kind of folded your Tuna AI into the the show here, and it's printed money for folks, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely, we do. And PPCB, I wouldn't take this off the radar yet. It's still holding above VWAP. I would think that if we do get a move past the session high, the regular session high, it seems to me that 10 to 10.15 is about the next area where you're going to run into some support or sort of resistance.
This is actually fairly interesting that it's holding its VWAP there.
Yeah.
Not breaking down yet.
Roblox is flying up. Well, that's okay. It had a big drop down this morning. It's still holding above the 50-day SMA. So we already had Friday it held above there. It's doing it again today. That's signaling to me that we lose the 50-day SMA, it's going to get even uglier. And I anticipate that it will, but it might need some more time before we end up losing that moving average. This isn't going to happen like where we just get immediately, a huge drop down. I think it's going to be similar to UNH, but not exactly like it. Like where it was just a massive drop down over a short period of time. Let's see what happens as more developments come out of this lawsuit, because that's going to reveal, whether or not people are going to be willing to stick around in this thing or not. I do not have high hopes.
Love what I'm seeing here yet again. I tell you what, I go away on vacation. I see a lot of people having a great time, and I come back and I see the same people having more of a great time. And I absolutely love that. Lion, UNH, we talked about that a little bit here. What's that doing? We actually haven't checked on that since we did the movers.
You ready to draw another trend line?
Yeah, I'm not ready yet. My platform is not ready. Let me refresh this. Let me bring UNH up here. Let me get it on the chart tool and let me refresh, because I think I got some of the open cash in there still. Let me clear this out and see what we can do. Okay, let's go. Let's have 13 draw one of his magical trend lines that always seem to get tested, and we'll have a nice little spot there.
Well, this one already got tested, and it may be providing a rejection. So when you're ready on a daily chart, let me know, and I'll tell you where to draw them.
Oh, my Lord, dude.
So VTAC at that 375 area that it's got to hold.
All right, 13. I got a little bit snappy. Here we go. This is what I was looking for. All I needed to do was refresh. Just took a little bit. All right, what do you got for me, UNH?
Let's do a trend line following that gap in May. So we're going to use May 13th highs, and we're going to draw it through the July 1st high.
Yeah. And then we're gonna, dude.
And then, I would keep it with that green candle, that neutral green candle. Make that where you draw the line through, because
right here, right at the top of this neutral green. Yeah.
So here we are today trying to get over this. Now we opened above this trend line, but we seem to be coming back into it. So I think we could see a rejection here. It depends on how we end up closing, I would say. So if we close beneath this trend line, we might see another day that we come down and test the 50-day SMA as support before we make our move through this. But it looks to me like this is trying to recover, and we won't have any sort of gap fill happening until we get to about what is this, 342. So not going to see some gap fill until about 342, and I think it may take a number of days before we actually make our way up and through this trend line in a meaningful way.
Okay.
325 is going to be resistance after the trend line starts to get closed over.
Great stuff again. Tara, I appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. I know you guys probably got asked that quite a bit near the end of the week, but just as a reminder, it's always free. And let me know if you liked SNGX here today. Hit that like button. We'll try and find more of those.
Yeah, that area too. I agree, Joseph. I mean, it's going to, and you know what, Big Bear Hug, that I would be on board with that too. It does look like it's going to have a little bit of a hard time trying to get over this trend line. And I think that we're going to be seeing some support kicking in from that 50-day SMA. So, and we're talking about this whole range here where we've been trying to, get above it. It's gone sideways ever since we had that big drop in May. Before we made the new lows. So I agree that area is going to be a bit of tough area to move completely through, but we'll see what we end up getting. I think the UNH is going to, still recover, but it's going to be a little bit more of a slow recovery until we get up to that gap.
Whew.
Now PPCB still above VWAP, trying to push up towards the session highs. That is going to be 936. And we are knocking on the door of 9 just a moment ago. Big pull in SNGX. This is what I was talking about, by having your stops and taking profit, or at least paying yourself on the way up, because as I said, these things move up very, very fast. They can also move down very, very fast. And this is a very fast move down here in SNGX.
VWAP at 409. You think there's any chance this bounces at VWAP?
Oh, I think we'll see some support there. Whether or not we break the hold or not, I don't know. But I think we'll see at least a brief bounce, a brief price action bounce. It might just be one short bounce, but yeah, I think that's going to be a support area as we approach it. That's going to be at what 417 is where I have the VWAP. Where do you have it?
I have VWAP on SNGX at 409 in both TradingView and my broker.
Okay, that's still above our trend line, so we'll go with either one of those.
Yep.
That could be where you get some support. We'll see if it ends up kicking in. But look at so far we've already seen the slowdown, so getting some support there already in that area. SGD, this has moved over its VWAP, trying to get over the smaller EMAs as well. This if this starts to get some more volume, we might be able to come back up into the 150 area. A lot of sellers at 140 though.
Seeing some Lily puts here. Those are 680. Lily actually strong here today. Looks like it's trying to get over Friday's intraday high. Still on this potential gap fill up to 750. Once Lily gets above 706, it will be going back to its gap of 740. It's there. Let's go.
SGD hitting that wall of sellers at 140. They can take that out. We could see a big move up to 150.
Because this is actually doing some corrective work here. I know we spent most of the morning selling off here. Now it's starting to curl.
I'm certainly trying. I need to see better volume in this, because we could get a seller to come in and just take all this out. So until just look at the volume ever since the morning. It's just been dwindling. We need to see this expand if we're going to get back up to those other levels we're talking about, like 150.
Yeah. Mazrur, hello. Thank you very much. When you mention VWAP, is that the 5-minute time frame? So yes, VWAP, whenever I'm looking at it and using it for like a support or resistance level, I'm generally looking at it on the 5-minute chart. I would say maybe also the 1 and the 15, but predominantly the 5.
It should be the same across all your smaller time frames.
Yeah. Or very, very close. I think mine's off by a penny on some of those, depending on how it's calculated. And it's nice to see a nice little bounce back.
Yeah, they're mentioning Wolf. I'm looking at that right now. This looks like it's trying to take out the 1040 sellers. There's a little bit of a concentration of them right there. That would give us new session highs.
It feels to me like Wolf is moving a little bit slower than it did on Friday. I almost wonder if things are kind of settling down a little bit there.
Well, it seems like the crypto trade kind of has a little bit of cooling happening here.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention that Bitcoin was down, so it seems like there's been a little bit of cooling in the crypto trade for today. All right, so SNGX still kind of hanging out at that area where the last candle closed. Not showing recovery yet, not showing breakdown either, but we'll just have to wait and see what we end up getting here. Just be careful with SNGX. We got good movement already. Let's not get back. We made. Wolf still trying to hit that 1040. I think we might see a new session high here in just a tick. And VTAC.
Yep. I was just looking at the same thing. It looks like it's still continuing its curl, 13.
Mm-hmm. All right, SNGX still looking a little weak. BTAI, man, it is still hanging out at that 200 EMA on the 5-minute. I don't like the volume in BTAI, and unless we start to get some expansion, this thing looks like it's going to lose the 200 EMA and probably fall under 6. It's not looking great to me right now. All right, so here we are. We're at 1040 on Wolf. There we go. Boom. New highs.
Good stuff on Wolf. SNGX here. This I had asked, what would happen if it came into VWAP? Would it bounce there? It's looking like it's trying to like turn around. I actually wouldn't be surprised if this tried to curl a little bit, kind of pulled flush to VWAP and then bounced. Because that would end up shaking some people out. I'm not in it, but I'm going to be watching this. We might get another play here in SNGX.
Well done, Tess. Great job on Wolf. JGP, did Voyager bottom yet? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a tough call. I want to say yes, but
I can tell you what I think it's going to cause it to move. I can't tell you if it's going to be done selling or if it's going to rip or what. I'm thinking that it's possible that there might be a bottom, but I need to see a little bit more confirmation, especially out of a company that has nothing to do with it, but a company that's not Voyager. I need to see some success in their next Starship test flight with SpaceX. So we'll see. We'll see.
You guys are talking about ASBP. Sorry we haven't checked on this. This is just the penny stock, but it's riding its VWAP. Maybe for another push here. I'm going to pass on the penny stocks, as I'm sure you know.
GB Slice, we did talk about BLSH, and we just really haven't, a lot to talk about because it's still a pretty new issue, and we're not kind of speculating where the bottom might be or where it's going to run to. We just haven't covered it. It's still a pretty new issue.
I don't know that either of us have anything on it. Like we can pull it up and look at it, but I don't know that we have anything on it with it being the new issue, like you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wolf calls going off, by the way. These are the 1050s, and they're the ones for September.
Yeah, 1049 was the high that we just hit. And there's a little bit of a trend line that indicates that at this stage, we might be seeing 1060 if we want to touch that trend line. SNGX, a little bit of a bounce here. Volume isn't, as great as it was earlier, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't see some more expansion here and go back up and make new session highs. Matter of fact, could draw a trend line here from the high of the pre-market through that 489 and kind of give us an idea where the next high might end up being.
Yeah, let me do that. I'm worried about marking up the chart too much, but honestly, that looks too good to pass up here, 13.
Yeah, so we have at least to the downside that trend line that we drew for the breakout. That could be support if we lose VWAP. And then to the other side, we have this trend line that we drew on the top that may indicate where the next resistance area is going to be that we don't have any data for. Maybe we could look at the left and kind of get an idea, but just for today only, that trend line is probably going to be in play.
Yeah, the 538, the 537 level that Tuna is mentioning, we talked about this earlier. This is definitely possible. And I got to blow my nose again. I am so sorry.
Hey, no problem. Some jerk on the plane is making you have the sniffles. Here we go with Wolf. 1055, almost to that trend line that we just drew. Now, if we hit that trend line, I'm more inclined to believe we'll back off. Or was this SNGX we were just talking about? Yeah, it was SNGX. But we also talked about the Wolf trend line that I think I mentioned it about 4 or 5 minutes ago. This coming up to, looks like 1060. Like I said earlier, 1060 could be the next resistance area in this. And I do see a large concentration of sellers at 1070, big ones at 1075. So we may see some resistance here. And sure enough, we're getting a little bit of a back off here, just like we did with the other times that this trend line hit the candles. So wouldn't be surprised if we backed off to about 1025 in Wolf. 1025 looks like that's a good area for support if we do back off after hitting this trend line, though.
All right, what else does you guys see going on out there? Actually, been Netflix. Is there news on Netflix? I see this ramping to the highs. I didn't see any unusual options earlier. Maybe I missed it though.
Looks like PPCB is wanting to go back over 9. I'm not sure because the volume I think needs to be better, but it's it's spread enough to where you might get that move.
So someone will have to help me out with this because I don't watch this. Stranger Things creator Duffler Brothers, excuse me, exit Netflix Inc. deal with Paramount.
Okay.
Netflix is actually trading up. So can you what's the deal with that?
Well, so Stranger Things has pretty much been a great success for Netflix, and I don't know why it would be moving up on that, because if it's had such a great success that keeping that showrunner around, or creator, I'm not sure what exactly they call them, but it would seem to me like that would be great for Netflix to have him around, since he made a successful show. But maybe there's some more in there that we just didn't read into as to why that's going up. I don't know why it's moving up on this. I think it would be better if they had him, because I thought that Stranger Things was a successful show. So
yeah,
I'm not exactly sure why Netflix is up, but I could take a look and see if I can figure it out.
Yeah, it might just be trading action 13. I don't see a whole lot out there. Good morning, Jay. Good to see you. Bob saying Ondas has regained its pre-market numbers. And again, this is kind of what I mean about when there's a huge following on Twitter for a name, especially one of these low dollar names that everybody can participate in, you're going to see a lot of these reactions. People see the price moving. They look to their guru. Their guru hasn't tweeted anything, so they don't know what to do, so they hit sell. And then all of a sudden, when that knee-jerk reaction is done, the price normalizes again. We see this all the time with some of these. It's one of the reasons why I comment here. If there's a stock being traded by a prominent Twitter account, it's at least us worth noting that that's the case, so that we can understand the dynamic. There's nothing we can do about it, and it's not a bad thing necessarily, but we should know what's going on there so we can take advantage of some of those moves. Bob, I think the one here today, basically what I'm telling you is I thought the one here today was a buying opportunity. Now, I'm not trading around my core position. I'm just kind of waiting this out. Thankfully, I have a lot more patience now that I've sold so much of it, but I think that's what's going on here.
I think one of the things about this news with Netflix is that, so the Duffer Brothers, which made Stranger Things, they were really starting to make things pretty expensive with as their most recent season 4 price tag per episode was $30 million. So maybe with them leaving, Netflix can work on new franchises or other content that isn't so pricey. Maybe it's just like more of a like, oh, hey, Netflix is cutting this particular cost. Now that might be just part of it. So let me continue to see if I can find anything else. But it seems to me like that could be one of the reasons.
Real quickly here, Kevin saying a pile of my holdings just turned green. That's a good 15 seconds, isn't it, Kevin? When you're like, did something happen in the last 5 to 10 minutes? So I don't see anything that I can directly attribute this to, but I will say I am seeing things leaking out here about the meeting with the Europeans and Zelensky here today. And I'm almost wondering if peace is on the horizon. There was probably a truth in there. Producer, if you're not busy, maybe you can figure out what the last truth was. I'm not on that website, so I don't know. But let me know if you find something. That's what I think is going on here. Oh my God, Jay Rice, Citron has a $40 price target on Palantir.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Well, that would bring the valuation more in line with what they probably are. Now, I guess one other thing about Netflix is that there's been a push among the content creators that have been working with Netflix to have theatrical runs. And Netflix is saying, no, we don't want to do that. They think that the theater first model is outdated. So this business decision may also be causing Netflix to move. It could be just like a number of things that's causing this rally. That because there's other stuff that was kind of coupled into this PR about the Duffy brothers leaving, or Duffer brothers leaving.
Here, so, Jay, this was a really good mention on Palantir. Here's a link to the PDF from Citron.
All right.
OpenAI at 500 billion puts Palantir at 40, and that's generous. So if you guys want to go through this report, I just linked this here in the chat. There you go. Wow. Really good mention here, Jay. Citron, $40 target on Palantir, ticker PLTR.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for that. I'm actually going to read through this. I don't know if I believe this or not. I don't have let's put it this way. I don't have necessarily a thought on this directly, but it's hard for me to look at that price target, which is right down here, by the way, and look at where the price is, and then think back to all of the times that we've talked about this being overpriced and being like, yeah, there might be a move here.
Well, I need to start seeing some closes beneath the 20-day SMA. We did start getting that in July, but it just recaptured it and kept keeping on. So when we start getting some more closes beneath the 20-day SMA and maybe even the gap down to the 160 area where we had that and fill that gap, we might start to see this turn more bearish, but need to see some more indicators.
Okay, so there was a recent truth. No, this is. Oh yeah, but you're okay. I have a timestamp here from a European, and it says it's in the afternoon, and I'm like, no, but now it makes sense. Trump is tweeting about resolving this war. The truth is reading as if he's very, very confident. So I would have to say it does, at least through this lens, it looks like there might be some peace on the horizon, and maybe the market is responding to that. Real quick here, I love reading this. Kelvin, thanks to Ryan for believing in Ondas. I bought 5,000 shares at 60 cents, and I sold half of that position at 3. Bro, that's what I'm talking about. That is several 100%. The rest of those shares, not only are they free, you've already got gains booked, letting the other 2,500 shares ride. Kelvin, I don't think I've ever seen you ask me a question on what to do. So to see that what you did on your own with this is absolutely awesome. Congratulations. We hope to keep finding more gold for you. Lion here saying, yes, Ryan, I saw that report. Citron is smoking some heavy stuff for sure. LOL, a ton of smiley faces. Jay saying, new exclusive on Netflix. It's a take off on the summer I turned pretty story, is about Ryan, the summer I broke 80. I see. So that is this summer, by the way. I did my best score ever is a 79. It was a loose 79. There were a couple of mulligans in there, but that is my best score. I'll take the rib shot there. I deserve that, Jay. You got it, Kelvin. Keep it up, man. Really good trade.
Keep an eye on SNGX. It's been drifting lower, but it's still holding its VWAP, and it seems like there's some positive volume starting to flow back into this.
Yes.
BTAI also trying to get back up to its VWAP. That might get going here soon. Still not liking the volume though.
Jay, I need your help to break 70 because my friends are starting to chirp a little bit more and more now that I'm actually getting better. And I want to take some of their money. I want to take it out of their wallet and put it into mine. So if we could have some private lesson, that would be great.
Keep in mind, folks, we are past that 1030 marker where we see volume leave the market and things don't trade as well as they do. So just keep that in mind as we move forward from here. We could see a lot of these names return in the afternoon, so don't take them off your radar. Just make sure you're protecting yourself at the very least. Look at PPCB now. This thing is probably done.
Okay, let me pull that up. And by the way, while 13 is just telling you about what time it is here, just a quick look ahead. We do have an all access here today at about 10:50, and then we're sending you to Trader Bacon right from that. So we still got 20 minutes here or so to go. But there is an all access here today, followed by Trader Bacon. Here is your PPCB here.
Yeah. And this thing is spready and it's getting walked down. So be very, very careful, folks. Hopefully you took your gains and you called it a good day and you're not giving it all back because it looks like this thing is coming right back to where it started this morning.
Real quick, funny story here, Jay. So I go down there thinking, I'm like, we're actually going to, this is just a charity event for a school. Like it's probably a bunch of parents. We have a chance. So I go down there and I'm all pumped up. We tee off at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm doing push-ups at like 5:45. Like I'm getting ready. I'm ready to go. First hole, we're doing a scramble, right? First hole, I absolutely smoked my drive, like 285 right down Broadway. And then the next shot, so we took my drive. The next shot, I played a little wedge into the green, stuck it like literally 5 feet from the pin. And I'm feeling pretty good at this point. Walk up to the green, sink the putt. So I get a personal bird on hole 1. And I'm like puffing my chest out. I'm like, this is going to be awesome. We came back into reality. My group finished -2 for the tournament. The winner shot a 57. The winning group shot a 57 in a scramble. They were like -14 or whatever, -15. We had no chance, but it was fun. Also, Jay and Wiss and anyone else that wants to laugh at me, we get to one of the holes and they've got the Razorback female golf team. These are D1 golf athletes, okay? And we're going to have a driving competition, they say. If you can outdrive the player here, you'll get a sleeve of balls. I'm like, oh, it also goes to a charity. Yep, so we all do it. I sliced my ball into the woods. I was way too anxious, so I sliced my ball into the woods. And then the other two people in my group, or two of the other people in my group, hit their best drives of the day and still lost. So I paid $10 to have a D1 female golfer remind me that I suck at golf, as I talked about. Anyway.
Yeah, Lion, that's thank you for echoing that. 10:30, sell your junk. Careful, we are seeing volume leave the market, folks. Smoke Tuna saying a big Palantir holder just sold Palantir. So they are probably a smaller Palantir holder now, but still probably holding it.
TTD getting a lot of mention. This continuing to move higher here on TTD, the trade desk. This is almost back to where it really fell out. I still think the level it's got to get above is probably a little bit higher. Yeah, we really have to get back into a 60 handle here.
Did we ever look at Costco? I thought I saw somebody wanting to take
Someone
a look at
mentioned it, but I never pulled it up.
Okay. This one, this has kind of been going sideways since last year, in my opinion. Like we've made some higher levels and we've, come back down to, 875 area before we went back up to those, $1,000 plus levels again. So we're seeing a lot of back and forth, and we're trading in a bit of a parallel channel right now. We're currently holding the 200-day SMA, but it's looking like we're really close to a death cross happening here with Costco. The only thing that's preventing that right now is, I don't think a whole lot is preventing that, to be honest. It looks like we're still going to end up getting that. If we do, we have the mid channel, the parallel channel that could provide support. That's going to be just above the 20-day SMA. So I'm thinking this could trade a little bit lower here if we do end up getting that death cross. Just something we'll have to watch for. That's when the 50-day SMA crosses to the downside beneath the 200-day SMA.
One of the things that I see here is a triangle, and as we get closer to 2026, this is going to compress more and more. I would guess that if we break out of this, that we go towards 1100. That would be my guess.
Yeah, we're just kind of like just consolidating it at the moment.
Jay here saying it's a given, Ryan. If you're a +1 or 2 male golfer, you will get smoked by anyone on the LPGA tour. They are so good. So I knew this going in. I knew I was going to lose. I knew that this was a ruse. But one of the other guys in my group who had a number of adult beverages, he decided that the best thing to do was to smack talk her. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. She's going to get even more pissed and she's going to whack this ball. And then, of course, I had to hit first. So it's like, thanks, dude. You made her all mad and she just absolutely blasted this thing. It's just how it goes. She's very good. And I understand that real golfers, it doesn't matter what gender you are, they're legit. Wolf, got it. Sorry, I know I'm wandering into the deep end here. 13.
It's okay. You can still swim. Wolf is looking like it's trying to test this trend line again. It just tested it and moved over it about 10 minutes or 15 minutes ago before it came right back in. So it's certainly trying to hit this trend line and go above it. Just watching to see if we end up getting this breakout that takes us beyond the 1071 high that it printed. BTAC trying to get support from the 65 EMA, SNGX. This thing's still trending lower. Now coming down to that initial breakout trend line that we drew. We're testing this as support. I don't know if it's going to hold up or not, but if there is going to be a price reversal coming here in SNGX, I would think that this trend line might be the spot to do it. PPCB, this thing is not looking that great. It looks like it's trying to recover after hitting the 200 EMA on the 5 minute, but I do not like where the volume's at.
You think there's another opportunity here in SNGX if it holds this trend line? I guess it would really depend on the volume, but
Yeah, that's the two components I would say. It has to have enough volume, and it has to hold that trend line.
yeah.
And then we could see another. I don't know how high it could go. Maybe we see 5.
Oh my.
Wow.
Good mention here. JGP, APLD. This has been another one that this show has talked about a lot. I'll be honest, this one I've kind of missed. I have not done a good job at all trading this one, swinging it, or anything like that. I think maybe I've scalped it a few times here. And I'm disappointed in myself because you guys, I feel like, talk about this all of the time. Look at the move here in APLD. Great break of that initial high. Is there something going on in this? Volume looks really good here today, too.
Really good trend line here with this one. You want to draw it?
Yeah, I want to try to figure out the news here first. I need my news feed to load.
All right. Meanwhile, I will just look and see. Okay,
No
so
idea.
there's Wolf hitting that trend line again. 1060, what, 63? Yeah, 1063 is the high of that candle. Kind of backing off a little bit there. So doesn't seem like they had enough volume to get through it, but as long as it doesn't break down beneath 1040, there still is a shot that it can break through that trend line and take out that 1071. But we need to see better volume than this.
Here's what's going on in APLD. I'm sorry that took so long. This morning, they're breaking ground on a $3 billion Polaris Forge 2 campus in September of this year, and it got its price target raised to 23 from 12 at Craig Hallam. So this thing up 16% on the back of that. Did you want to do a trend line here on this?
Yeah, just something that I've noticed with the price action with this one since the June 2024 high, June 25th, I believe is what it is. Start with that high and draw it up through.
Wait. June. Hang on a sec. June 20. I have the June 6th. June. Okay, the June 24th. That's down here.
No, June 20. No, of 2024. June 25th of 2024.
Oh gosh. Okay, I think I see what you're going for here.
And then just draw it through the high of June this year. Yeah, keep going. We're almost there. See?
Yep, you were absolutely right about that. 13.
So one thing that I would watch for with this, since we have plenty of cases where this has happened, we might see the price move up to this trend line, and then we could see it back off meaningfully before it goes on to make new multi-year highs again. Because I think the last time that we were up at this area, we were in 2022. Yeah, April 2022. Last time we were printing these prices. So
this thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just to say this thing did a reverse split back in 2022 and has just been crushing since then.
All right, go and so that's kind of what I would be watching for with this one. Could it still go higher? I think it could. I think you might end up seeing this go to 20 at some point here. But this trend line, I think we should also be observant of, because every time that the price does go up to this, we end up getting a backing off of the price. So just something to keep in mind if we're going to trade this. And I do think that 20 does look like a spot where this is going.
Okay. All right, folks, 4 minutes until our all access starts here. Another good Monday. I'm happy to be back, and I love all of the warm welcomes and wishes back. Definitely missed you folks. But I'm looking forward to a real good week here this week. So
it's been a great start.
Yeah, it actually has here. Even with rocket dipping here, it's actually been pretty good. Palo Alto maybe bottomed at 175, by the way. I know they've got their earnings report here tonight, so be careful with that. SNGX trying to bounce as we speak right now, but I still don't know if this is going to have enough strength to really make a meaningful move higher. Look what this is doing, 13. You could almost draw a trend line here with these wicks, right? Look at this.
Yeah, I see that. It's really just going to be about the volume at this point. And we did get a little bit of support to kick in on that trend line that was initially the breakout trend line. We wanted to see a back test of that as support. We pretty much, I would say, got it. I don't think that I think we could still end up testing that again, maybe. But for me, everything's going to be all about the volume. If we're going to come back up to 5, we need to see that expansion. We're not.
Here we go.
Right now.
Watch this right now. I mean, we're trading right back up to the trend line here. We'll see if this ends up snapping. And I still see some decent volume on the tape here. Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, this is the area right now where we've got to see that volume really expand to get through
Yep.
the sellers. There's a large concentration of sellers here at 445. And even the chart's telling you that those sellers were there, 25 minutes ago when it tried to get back up and over 445 about just before that 1030 marker. So here we are with dealing with the sellers. We get through that. I think we could see
450 is next. Yeah.
Well, I think we could see 460 pretty easily if we manage to get through this 445 area.
Yeah, SNGX looking pretty good.
Smoke Tuna mentioning WGRX penny stock. We also have Big Bear Hug mentioning CoreWeave. He bought some January 105 calls. Absolutely, Edwards. Absolutely. Looking, hey, it's been a great morning. I can't wait to see what we end up getting later on this afternoon because we've. I know you've been on vacation, but we have seen some real movement in the later part half of the day. So I'm not counting these as being done yet. I want to see which ones still have some strength left in them in the afternoon.
Okay, well, that's a really good heads up. We are going to get over to All Access here in a sec. So you have any closing words for the group here, 13, before we move over?
Hey, folks, wonderful to have another Monday here with you today, and glad to have Ryan back. Let's come back here tomorrow. We'll have another wonderful day. We'll find the movers. We'll make some money, and we'll have a great time. Take care, everybody. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
All right. 13, thanks again for holding the fort down while I was gone. It means a lot. Really good stuff here today. We're going to have a great week. That is 13, everybody. We'll see him again here tomorrow. We are going to go over to All Access here, and then from All Access, we're going to send you to Futures Fever. So I'll be out of here as well. But let's go ahead and bring on Dan Leach. Dan, how you doing? You catch that football game yesterday?
I catch them all. First of all, how are you doing? I didn't know were you traveling in a hot air balloon or
no hot air balloon. That gives me, I'm afraid of heights. That really messes with me. I was down in Arkansas at a charity golf tournament with my buddies, so we had a good time.
Go Pig, Suey. All I know is that preseason week 2 gets us 1 week closer to actual football, and there's college games
week 0, baby.
Weekend.
Week zero. All right, what do you got coming up on All Access for us?
Really excited. I've got Arthur Brightman, the co-founder of Tezos. So we're going to be talking a lot of uranium.
That actually sounds like fun and topical. Dan, take it away.
Thanks so much, Ryan. And hey, Zingers, and welcome to All Access. I do have a wonderful guest for you today. It is Arthur Brightman, the co-founder of Tezos. He is joining us for an exclusive talk today. All Access starts right now. And it is my pleasure to welcome in the co-founder of Tezos. It is Arthur Brightman.
It's great to be here. Thank you, Dan.
Of course. Well, let's get right into it. Can you walk me through how uranium.io fits within the Tezos ecosystem and what role you see it playing in the broader vision?
Uranium.io is a platform where anyone can come in, create a wallet, and buy tokenized uranium. That's uranium oxide, also known as yellow cake, in their crypto wallet. So you might be used to hold cryptocurrencies in your wallet. Here you can hold real assets and one that's powering the future of energy. So that's quite exciting. And to answer your question, the role that the Tezos chain plays in this is that, of course, the asset itself, XU308, is tokenized on top of Tezos via an EVM compatibility layer called Etherlink, but it's all the Tezos ecosystem.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. You mentioned it. It is very exciting. I have a lot of friends that are really into uranium right now. It's a very big, commodity to do. And listen, speaking of it being, a commodity that is obviously in demand, but as you know, Arthur, very hard to buy and sell. So as a result, obviously, investors don't get the benefit from the price increases. Uranium.io, I know, seems to be changing that through the tokenization of uranium, specifically uranium or concentrator, what is known as U308. What is uranium.io and what made you focus on providing the regular investors, like I mentioned, so many that I know that are really into it, with access to uranium?
It's like you said, it's all about access. And what got me passionate about this is I felt this is a very important commodity. It's a globally important commodity. and there's basically no ways to access it. It's an illiquid spot markets that exist over the counter. There are some exchange traded products, but they don't track the underlier very well. Sometimes they have a 15% premium over the price, meaning you're overpaying for the uranium inside of it. Sometimes they have a 15% discount, meaning if you want to sell it, you're not getting a good price. So this is designed to track the price much more closely and give access. And it's not just retail. Of course, I think retail can be quite interested in uranium, but it's also hedge funds. It's also a variety of players. It's a globally important commodity that was lacking a market. And so that's what uranium.io is making happen.
No, that's incredible. And let's dive, if we can, Arthur, into the techie side of the business. I always love doing that. Tell us how the uranium.io platform works. Can anybody purchase and sell uranium?
Yeah, so the way it works is you go to uranium.io, you connect with a wallet. So any EVM compatible wallet will work, whether you're using Rabi Wallet or MetaMask or others. You should be able to use that. And then you purchase it. You purchase it via stable coins. You can either use the partner Transact in order to do it straight from a card or a bank account, or if you have stable coins and any of the in your wallets, even if you have some stable coin in Ethereum, you can bridge them over. It's all fairly easy. In terms of who can do it, there are regulations associated with even a spot commodity like U308, and so there's on-chain analysis that's performed. It's kind of like a stable coin. I would say 99% of the time you're going to be fine, but there are checks that are done using on-chain analysis, and so sometimes on rare occasions you might be asked for some verification. That's part of compliance. Sure. But by and large, it's a frictionless experience for the vast majority of people.
That's fantastic stuff. Like I always like to say, what a time to be alive, Arthur. That's for sure. Let's talk about how uranium.io has made possible thanks to great partnerships with institutions like Curzon Uranium and Archax. Tell us about those two organizations, if you will, and why do you think they chose to partner on this project? What does it mean to have them as partners?
Yeah, so Archax are tokenization partners. They are FCA regulated in the UK. They have a wealth of experience in the topic. So they are providing the service that actually tokenizes a product, the legal service that tokenizes the product. And of course, you can also buy U308 via Archax as an exchange. It's available on Archax. It's also available on Gate, MXBT, and a few other exchanges. So that's what it provided. And then Curzon provided with a lot of expertise on the uranium industry and how the market actually works. And they also provided some of the initial liquidity by themselves taking some of their own uranium, because they are big holders of uranium, and tokenizing it and putting it on the platform.
Yeah, those are both awesome partnerships you have there. Let's talk about the uranium market. And I mentioned a lot of people obviously very excited. I have many friends that are very invested in it, and why it's a viable one for those investors to diversify into. What do you believe is driving the growth, Arthur, today, and what will drive it tomorrow?
So like any commodity, it's supply and demand. And right now we don't see a lot of new supply coming on. It takes a lot of time to get some mines started. So there's not a lot of growth in the supply. At the same time, we're seeing a lot of growth in the demand because nuclear power plants are being restarted everywhere in the world. There's this rising interest for nuclear power. I would say a few years ago, they were shutting down nuclear power plants, and now everyone has a nuclear program. And obviously nuclear power plants, at least the ones that are being built, need uranium to run. So that's the demand side of the equation.
Yeah, not only are they not shutting them down, they want to put them on the moon now. So we're getting nuclear power everywhere. It's just the beginning. Now, listen, as you all know, tokenization of uranium, gold, and other real-world assets obviously is this huge burgeoning area right now. Do you expect it to go more mainstream, and what will that mean, obviously, to uranium.io?
I think so. Look, we've seen extreme product market fit in the crypto space with stablecoins. That has been a true success. This is not a pilot. There's hundreds of billions of dollars in stable coins, and that's been a huge success of the industry. And I think the key to it was the lack of friction the simplicity and the global access. And yes, I think we're going to see every important commodity be tokenized and be given global access via these blockchain networks. It doesn't mean you don't necessarily have intermediaries. I think a lot of people are going to be in the business of creating investing platforms, creating custodian, distributing it. But the underlying rails, the fact that they can push this globally with low friction, I think are super important. And we're going to see more of those.
Well, it was absolutely fascinating stuff, and you guys are doing some incredible stuff there. It was an absolute pleasure talking with you today, Arthur. Thank you so much for your time. Nothing but the best going forward with all this.
Thank you. Pleasure was mine. Thanks, Dan.
Pleasure out of mine as well. That was the co-founder of Tezos, Arthur Brightman. Fascinating stuff on Uranium. And I'm Dan Leach saying keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Thanks so much for watching. Guess what? Trader Bacon's 100th episode is up next. Have a great day, everybody.